Yutong rubbed his aching head and climbed up from a pile of damp leaves. Surrounded by dense woods, towering ancient branches and leaves intertwined into a green dome, the sun shone through the gaps, and mottled light and shadow danced on the ground. She blinked and tried to recall what had just happened. She was playing with her mobile phone in the dormitory, reading the latest novel about another world, and then a white light flashed. Now, this is definitely not her college dormitory. What the hell is this place? Yutong muttered to himself, his heartbeat racing. She looked down at herself and saw that she was still wearing the same loose t-shirt and jeans, but there were a few strange leaves scattered around her feet, with a faint blue light glowing at the edges, which looked very much like the magical plants in the novel. The air smells of earth and wildflowers, and the distant calls of unknown birds are heard. She tried to take a deep breath and force herself to calm down. Okay, don't panic, this must be a dream, or time travel. Just as she was thinking wildly, a translucent blue panel suddenly appeared in front of her eyes, floating in her field of vision like a game interface. Yutong was startled and rubbed his eyes. It didn't disappear. System panel starts. Welcome host, Yutong. Her basic information is displayed on the panel. Name, Yutong. Level, 1. Occupation, none. Attributes, Strength 10, Agility 12, Intelligence 15, Stamina 9. Skills, Basic Perception, left 1, Novice Shield, left 1. Task, none. Reputation, 0. System. Real or fake? Yutong's eyes widened and he poked the panel with his finger, and it rippled like water waves. She felt excited. Isn't this the golden finger in those novels? Hey, system, can you speak? What kind of world is this? The panel flickered slightly, and a line of text slowly emerged. This system is an auxiliary tool for crossing. Current location, edge of L Forest. Suggestion, go to the nearest adventure guild to register, about 2 kilometers away. Complete registration to unlock newbie tasks. Adventure guild. It sounds so familiar. Yutong grinned, and the panic subsided slightly. She stood up, patted the dirt on her body, followed the instructions on the small map on the panel, and walked towards the edge of the forest. The woods were eerily quiet, with only the occasional sound of wind. As she walked, she tried to call up her skills and silently recited, Basic Perception. Her vision suddenly became clear. There were a few small animals scurrying about in the grass around her, but there was no danger. Not long after leaving, an alert suddenly popped up on the panel. Low-level monster detected, forest goblin, second from left. It is recommended to use the novice shield for defense. What? Yutong stopped suddenly, and 3 little green-skinned monsters emerged from the bushes in front of them, holding rusty short knives in their hands, their eyes flashing fiercely. They made a shrill cry and rushed over. Damn, are you really here so soon? Yutong took a step back, his heart pounding. She instinctively shouted, Novice Shield. An invisible energy field instantly enveloped her, like a thin bubble. The leading goblin slashed with his sword. The blade hit the shield and made a buzz sound. The monster was bounced away and fell into the grass. Seeing this, the other 2 pounced on him even more ferociously. Yutong gasped, her mind racing. The panel showed that her agility was 12, and she should be able to run, but she didn't want to just escape. Basic awareness. She shouted, and the goblin's weak points appeared in her field of vision, the back of the neck and the knees. She dodged a blow sideways and kicked a monster in the knee. The guy knelt down with an ouch. She grabbed a branch from the ground and used it as a stick to hit the other one on the head, using her shield to block the last wave of attacks. The battle lasted less than a minute, and the 3 goblins fell to the ground. Yutong panted and leaned against the tree trunk. This skill really works. If it weren't for the panel, I would probably be in trouble. The panel dinged. The battle is won. Experience plus 30. Level increased to 2. Unlocked skills, Basic Swordsmanship, left point 1. She wiped her sweat and moved on. The edge of the forest gradually became sparse, and finally a stone road was seen. There was a wooden sign on the roadside with the words, "To Bell Town," in front of the Adventure Guild, engraved on it. Bell Town is not big, but it is very lively. There are many wooden houses, and people are coming and going on the street, including strong men carrying long swords and elf-like women wearing cloaks. The smell of barbecue and spices floated in the air, making Yutong's stomach growl. The guild hall is in the center of the town, a 3-story wooden building with an adventurer's badge hanging at the door. Pushing the door open and walking in, the hall was filled with smoke. Several long tables were filled with people of all kinds. Some talked about their combat experiences, while others lowered their heads to study the map. Standing behind the bar was a middle-aged man with an unshaven beard, wiping wine glasses. Yutong took a deep breath and stepped forward. Excuse me, is this an adventure guild? I want to register. The man looked up at her and smiled. You're a new face, little girl. Where did you come from? You look like you're dressed like a local. He handed over a piece of parchment and a quill. Fill out the form. Name, age, expertise. Just as Yutong lowered his head to fill in the form, a gentle voice came from the side. Do you need help? Adventurers who come to the guild for the first time are always in a hurry. She turned around and saw a woman in her early 40s, with long gray hair tied into a ponytail, wearing practical leather armor, and a thick notebook on her waist. The woman smiled, her eyes filled with the wisdom of experience. My name is Enoch, and I am the senior mentor of the guild. What about you, little girl? Yutong. Just arrived in town. Yutong smiled awkwardly and handed the form to the man at the bar. Inua came over and took a look. Yutong. What a good name. Have you filled it out? Come on, I'll take you to apply. She led Yutong to the registration desk aside, where there was a crystal ball-like device. Enoch explained, the rules of the guild are simple. After registering, you can take on tasks, starting from F level. The tasks are divided into collection, protection, exploration, etc. Trade routes are the most profitable, but also the most dangerous. Thieves and monsters can lose their lives at any time. Remember, the guild does not guarantee safety, only provides rewards and intelligence. The crystal ball lit up and scanned Yutong's hand. Panel synchronization pops up. Registration successful. Guild member, Yutong. Unlock the mission board. Initial reputation plus 10. Welcome to join, Yutong. Ino patted her shoulder. Don't rush to take on big tasks. Start with simple collection first and get familiar with the environment. The guild has a team system. You can survive longer if you find partners. Yutong nodded, feeling warm in his heart. This woman is very much like a senior in college, always telling everything she knows. Thank you, Sister Inuo. I have something special that can help. Ino raised her eyebrows. Oh? What is it? Well, it's similar to intuition. Yutong didn't say much and turned to the task board. The board is covered with notes, the simplest of which is, collect blue leaf grass, 10 plants, reward 5 silver coins. I'll take this, she said to Enoch. Enoch nodded, good choice. The blue leaf grass is in the grass outside the town. Be careful not to get close to the monster's lair. Go ahead and come back to receive the prize when you're done. Yutong left the guild and went straight to the grassland. The sun was shining and wildflowers were blooming. She crouched down and silently recited, basic perception, and the panel marked the location of the blue leaf grass, and it really worked. In less than half an hour, she picked 12 plants and had 1 extra plant as a spare. When he returned to the guild to hand in the task, Ino was chatting with several adventurers. Seeing her coming back, his eyes lit up, so fast. Not bad, little girl. After accepting it, the man at the bar handed over a bag of silver coins, 5 silver coins, and experience rewards. Guild coins can be exchanged for equipment or food. Yutong took the money bag and felt it was heavy. Panel update. The mission is completed. Experience plus 20. Unlock the Novice Gift Pack, Basic Backpack, Capacity plus 50, Introductory Trade Knowledge. She opened the gift bag, and a virtual backpack appeared in the interface. The knowledge section contained information about trade in other worlds, how to avoid thieves when transporting goods, weaknesses of Warcraft, route profits. Trade, sounds exciting. Yutong murmured. Enoch came over and said, "Why, are you interested? The trade tasks of the guild are not simple, but the rewards are rich. For example, escorting spices to a neighboring town, you can earn dozens of gold coins in one trip." Yutong clenched the money bag, his eyes sparkling. The frightening battle with goblins in the forest just now made her realize that this world is no joke. But the system panel is like an invisible mentor, giving her confidence. "Sister Inuo, I have decided. I will use this intuition to make my way in the guild. Starting from small tasks, one day, I will try those trade routes." Enoch laughed. "Have ambition. Go and start the adventurer's journey from now on. Remember, the king's way is to come back alive." Yutong turned and left the guild, the sunset lengthening her figure. She touched her backpack, and a picture of the future appeared in her mind, forming a team to protect cargo, traveling through dangerous roads, fighting off monsters. This other world might be more exciting than the novel. Yutong was walking on the stone road in Belltown. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on her shoulders, casting long shadows. The bustle of the guild hall was still echoing in her ears. She touched the money bag at her waist, and the silver coins in it jingled, as if to remind her that all this was real. Although the task of collecting blue leaf grass was simple, it made her feel the power of the system panel for the first time. The accuracy of analyzing the location of the herbs was like a cheat code when playing a game. She smiled and thought, if my college roommates knew that I had traveled through time, they would be extremely jealous. Early the next morning, Yutong stepped into the guild hall again. This time she changed into a simple leather armor bought from a small store in town. Although it was a bit rough, it was at least more stain-resistant than a t-shirt. "Sister Inuo, morning." Yutong saw Inuo sitting at the bar, flipping through a yellowed atlas. She walked over and waved. Inuo raised his head, swung his ponytail, and showed a gentle smile. "Hey, Xiao Yutong, so early. Did you have fun in yesterday's blue leaf grass mission? You look very energetic." "It went super smooth. Thanks to that, intuition." Yutong pulled up a stool and sat down, moved closer, and whispered, "Sister, are you free? I want to learn more, especially how to do better in the guild." Ino closed the book and narrowed her eyes, as if sizing up prey. "Intuition? It doesn't sound simple. Let's go to the training room at the back to chat. Newcomers must lay a good foundation, otherwise they will plunge into the trade route without even having time to cry." The training room is on the second floor of the guild, a spacious wooden room with swords, shields and targets hanging on the walls, and several long tables in the middle. Inuo closed the door, motioned for Yutong to sit down, and took out a piece of paper from the notebook on his waist with a simple attribute chart drawn on it. "Adventurers in the guild level up through experience, but your intuition sounds like a talent. Come on, tell me how it can help you." Ino pushed the paper and sounded like a university tutor preparing lessons. Yutong hesitated, but decided to share it tentatively. She silently invoked the panel and let it appear in front of her eyes, of course, only the part that Ino could see. She pointed to the attribute bar, for example, this one, it shows my strength, agility, and so on. After fighting the goblins yesterday, I upgraded to level 2 when I had enough experience and unlocked basic sword skills. Sister, do you understand these? Inuo's eyes widened and she took a closer look. Although the panel was just air to her, Yutong's description made her raise her eyebrows. Oh my god, this looks like the legendary Eye of the Prophet. Oh my god, Yutong, you have found a treasure. Listen, upgrade the attributes. You don't just add points randomly, you have to rely on missions and battles. If your intelligence is high, you can analyze the enemy's weaknesses. If your strength is low, you can practice more swordsmanship and slowly build up skills. It's usually triggered by specific events, such as trade-related tasks. Yutong nodded, feeling warm in his heart. Not only is this sister experienced, she also doesn't hide her secrets. She tried to operate the panel and followed Ino's prompts to allocate the experience points from the previous mission to agility. The panel flashed. Agility +1, now 12. Movement speed increased by 5%. Wow, my legs feel a little lighter. Yutong stood up, jumped twice on the spot, and smiled broadly. Enoch patted her shoulder. Not bad. Come, let's practice. There are low-level escort tasks on the guild mission board, which is suitable for you to practice. Go pick up escort the caravan to Greenleaf Village. The journey is half a day, and the reward is 10 silver coins. There may be a little trouble along the way, but with your intuition, it should be safe. Yutong rushed out of the training room excitedly and went straight to the task board. The note said, the owner of the caravan is named Mark. He transports cloth and spices to neighboring villages and requires 2 to 3 guards. Deadline tomorrow. She tore off the note and ran to the bar to register. Uncle Mark is waiting at the east gate of the town, little girl. Be careful, thieves have been around recently. The man at the bar reminded. Outside the east gate of the town, a carriage was parked on the side of the road, filled with bundled cargo boxes. Mark is a chubby middle-aged man with a thick beard and a fur hat. He is chatting with 2 guards. One of them was a tall, muscular guy with shoulders as broad as a wall. He held a huge sword in his hand and had sharp eyes. He turned around and saw Yutong, frowning slightly. The guild is sending new people here. This trip is not just for fun. My name is Yutong. I specialize in investigation and analysis. I promise not to hold you back. Yutong held out his chest and smiled confidently. Mark nodded. Okay, more people, more efforts. Let's go. The carriage creaked forward, heading towards Greenleaf Village along the forest path. Yutong walked beside the team and chatted with the strong man as he walked. Brother, are you an expert? Judging from your sword, you must have chopped down many monsters. The strong man snorted, his voice as low as thunder. Guan Yu specializes in protecting trade lines. I have been in the guild for 5 years, and I have seen more bad guys than you have eaten. What about you? Little girl, how did you get into the guild? I just registered, and I fought goblins yesterday. Yutong blinked, deliberately showing off. I have some skills. I can see the enemy's weaknesses. You will know if something happens later. Guan Yu raised his eyebrows and said nothing, but there was a hint of curiosity in his eyes. The team was moving forward smoothly, the sun was shining in the forest, and the birds were chirping. Mark was humming a tune in the car. The goods were some fine silks and spices, which were valuable. After noon, an alert suddenly popped up on the panel. Hostility detected. 3 low-level thieves, left. 3, hidden in the bushes on the right, weak point, disabled left arm, good at sneak attacks but low endurance. Suggestion, distract and counterattack on the knee. Everyone, be careful. There is an ambush on the right. Yutong shouted, pulling out the dagger at his waist. It was a guild novice gift. As soon as he finished speaking, 3 masked men sprang out from the bushes, the scimitars in their hands shining coldly. The leader shouted, put down the goods and spare your life. Mark was so frightened that he cowered behind the car. Guan Yu had already rushed forward, swung his giant sword, and blocked the first wave of attacks. Little girl, don't be brave. Back off. But Yutong didn't retreat. She recited basic perception silently, and the panel marked the location and weaknesses of the thieves. One had a cloth-wrapped left arm and was slow in movement, the other had an old knee injury and could not run fast. She yelled, Brother Guan Yu, the one on the left has a problem with his knee. Let's kill him first. The endurance in the middle is weak, so just delay. Guan Yu was stunned for a moment, but he obeyed instinctively. He turned his sword and swept it towards the left thief's leg. The guy screamed and knelt down. Yutong took the opportunity to dodge sideways and opened his shield to block the attacker's knife. She stabbed the opponent's knee with basic sword skills, and the dagger hit accurately. The thief fell to the ground screaming in pain. The last one saw that the situation was not good and wanted to run. Guan Yu jumped up and pressed his shoulder with the giant sword. Want to escape? There is no way. The battle ended quickly, with the three thieves tied up and left on the side of the road to wait for the guild patrol. Mark wiped his sweat and his eyes were bright. Little girl, your eyesight is amazing. If it weren't for you, our product would have been ruined. Extra reward, 5 silver coins, plus a bundle of silk as a thank you gift. Yutong accepted it with a smile, and the panel dinged. The mission is completed. Experience plus 50. Agility plus 1, now 13. Unlock skills, weakness analysis, left point 1, improved detection accuracy. Reputation plus 20. She felt like she had been given a shot of chicken blood, and the pleasure of growing up rushed straight to her head. Guan Yu came over and patted her shoulder, so hard that she shook. Girl, that's right. Your intuition is not an exaggeration. Let's go on the next trade mission together. I couldn't ask for more. Brother Guan Yu, you are a top-notch guard, and I am responsible for the analysis. A perfect match. Yutong stretched out his hand, and the two high-fived, and laughter echoed in the forest. Back in Belltown, the sun sets again. Yutong went straight to the guild and handed the extra reward to Inuo. After hearing what happened, Inuo laughed loudly. Look, if you accumulate small victories, you will no longer be a novice. Come, sit down, and I will tell you about the trade routes. She spread out the atlas and pointed at the winding lines. It's a side trip from Bell to Greenleaf Village, but real money is on the long-distance route. For example, transporting spices to Ironstone City, a trip of hundreds of gold coins can also gain reputation. The elites of the guilds rely on this to make a fortune. But remember, there are pitfalls everywhere in the lair of Warcraft and the informants of competing guilds. If your panel can analyze the weaknesses of the route, then you will have a bright future. Yutong stared at the map, his eyes shining. Sister, I understand. Starting from small tasks, one day, I will form a team to take a big route. Brother Guan Yu has agreed to cooperate. Ino nodded, her tone full of encouragement. Well done. That's how guild life is, step by step. There will be a new task tomorrow, don't miss it. Yutong walked out of the guild, the night breeze was cool. She touched the newly unlocked silk and thought about her next goal. The system panel flashes slightly, as if to say, the adventure has just begun. Early the next morning, before the fog in Belltown had cleared, Yutong went out carrying a small baggage. She hid the bundle of silk under the bed of the hotel last night, and when she touched it, her mind was filled with those trade routes that Enoch told about, winding mountain roads, hidden treasure spots, which made her heart itch. The system panel flashed a few more times last night, showing that her reputation had increased slightly. She thought to herself, this thing really looks like a game, but the real danger is not pixels. The guild hall was already bustling with activity, and several early bird adventurers were queuing up in front of the bar to receive quests. At a glance, Yutong saw Guan Yu leaning against the wall with a huge sword standing beside him. He was lowering his head and wiping the blade of the sword, as skillfully as he was sharpening a kitchen knife. Enoch was wandering in front of the task board, holding a piece of paper in her hand. Brother Guan Yu, morning. Sister Inuo, are you so early too? Yutong walked over quickly and greeted with a smile. Her leather armor was still stained with dew from last night, and her hair was tied into a ponytail. She looked full of energy. Guan Yu raised his head and smiled on his rough face. Little girl, how did you sleep well last night? Newcomers in the guild like to stay up late and brag. Don't imitate me. No way, I'm just thinking about business. Sister, do you have any clues about the trade mission you mentioned yesterday? Yutong came to Inua's side and stared at the mission board. It is covered with various kinds of notes, from collecting medicine to hunting monsters. The trading ones are particularly conspicuous. The rewards are high, but the requirements are also strict. Enoch turned around, flicked her ponytail, and handed her a newly posted task list. As you said, this was just updated last night. Transport a batch of medicinal materials from Bell to Wuying village and cross the forest path to the east. The owner of the cargo is Lao Li, the town pharmacist. The medicinal materials are rare moon mushrooms and callus vine, worth 50 gold coins. The journey is 1 day, and the reward is 20 silver coins, plus experience rewards. It is suitable for new people to form a team to test the waters, but there are frequent monsters in the trails, especially wolves. Yutong took the note and glanced at the details. The panel automatically pops up analysis, task difficulty, medium-low. Potential threats, demonic wolves, number 5 to 8, weaknesses, group attacks are prone to chaos, and can be disintegrated if targeted at the leader. Route safety, 75%. She felt happy, this was exactly what she wanted to challenge. Sounds good. Brother Guanyu, let's go together. Is your cooperation okay yesterday? Yutong turned to look at Guanyu, with a hint of provocative excitement in his tone. Guanyu put away his sword and stood up straight, his shoulders wide enough to block half of the light. Okay, little girl. You analyze, I'll kill people. Many people in the guild are keeping an eye on this medicinal material task, and they won't be able to get it if it's too late. He glanced at the hall, and other adventurers began to come over and whisper. Enoch pulled them both to a corner, spread out her atlas, and pointed to a green marked line. Listen up, although this trail is close, there is a demon wolf lair deep in the forest. Recent reports say that the leader of the wolf pack is injured and more ferocious. Avoid the main road and take the edge path to avoid encounters, but it will be troublesome for the truck to turn. Yutong, can your intuition help with detection? Guanyu, you are the main guard, don't let the wolves outflank you. Understood, sister. Thanks. Yutong nodded, feeling warm in his heart. Inuo not only gave her information, but also gave her instructions like a big sister, making her feel that the guild was not a cold organization. The three of them went straight to the bar to register the mission, and Ino helped stamp it. Remember, come back and report that you are safe. Pharmacist Lao Li is waiting at the south gate, and the truck is ready. Outside the south gate, Lao Li is a thin old man wearing round glasses. His car is filled with sealed wooden boxes, exuding a faint scent of herbs. When he saw them, he breathed a sigh of relief. The people from the guild are here? These moonlight mushrooms are here to help. The plague in Wuying village is raging. Be careful, if the wolf howls in the forest, you will be in trouble. Uncle, don't worry. We guarantee that the goods will be delivered in good condition. Yutong patted his chest and climbed onto the side of the car. Guanyu held the reins of the horse and the team set off slowly. The sun shines through the treetops and onto the path, and the air is as fresh as tea. Yutong walked and chatted with Guanyu, trying to close the distance. Brother Guanyu, how long have you been protecting trade? Looking at your body, you probably chop wolves like vegetables. She poked her head out of the car and spoke in a relaxed tone, like chatting with her roommate in college. Guanyu chuckled and glanced at the surrounding bushes. 5 years, I started as a novice swordsman. I have seen all kinds of monsters on the trade line, thieves, magic beasts, and those jealous competitors. There are small groups outside the guild that specialize in cutting off beards and snatching goods to sell on the black market. What about you? Little girl, you came from time travel, right? It doesn't seem like a local product. Yutong's heart skipped a beat. How did he guess? But she excused herself with a smile. Ha, I'm half right. I'm a foreigner, so I'm lucky. Brother, can you teach me how to use swordsmanship? The way you did it yesterday, I felt like your sword style was thunderous. Practice more. Strength doesn't rely solely on brute strength. Look for weaknesses. Guanyu replied simply, but looked at her one more time. Your analysis is quite accurate. There will be a wolf later, I will listen to you. The path deepens, with shadows of trees and carriage wheels rustling through fallen leaves. Yutong calls the panel from time to time to monitor the surroundings, no abnormality. Laoli was taking a nap in the car, occasionally humming old songs, and the atmosphere was quite pleasant. After noon, the air suddenly became cooler. There was a low howl in the distance, like a ghost crying in the wind. Panel alarm sounds loudly. Detect hostility, demonic wolves, 200 meters ahead. The leader wolf, injured, weak right hind leg, group outflank mode. Weakness, after the leader falls, the remaining wolves are confused for 20 seconds. Suggestion, after Guan Yu is broken, I flank the enemy and use weakness analysis to lock it in. Wolves. Brother Guan Yu, there are 7 in ambush ahead. The leader has an injury on his right leg, kill it first, the rest will be in chaos. Yutong jumped out of the car and shouted, the dagger was unsheathed. Her heartbeat was racing, but the data on the panel kept her steady, a testament to growth. Guan Yu was instantly alert, with the giant sword in front of him. Old Li, stop the car. Little girl, how do you want to fight? Laoli turned pale with fright and tightened his grip on the reins. The wolf howl was approaching, and the first gray-haired demon wolf sprang out from the left, its eyes red as blood, and rushed towards the carriage. Guan Yu slashed out with his sword, and the wolf's head flew up, blood splattered all over the ground. Here we come. Yutong, flank. Yutong nodded and recited weakness analysis silently. The position of the leader wolf was marked on the panel, a big man with a dragging right leg. She yelled, brother, the big one is in the right jungle, poke it with your knees. At the same time, she activated the novice shield, and the blue light flashed, blocking the bite of a small wolf. The dagger thrust out, and the basic swordsmanship accurately hit the wolf's belly, causing it to retreat and howl in pain. Guan Yu obeyed the order and rushed to the right. His giant sword turned like a windmill, sweeping away the 2 wolves blocking the road, and went straight to the leader. The Wolf King roared and rushed towards him, claws clawing at his chest. Guan Yu dodged sideways and stabbed the joint of his right leg with the tip of his sword. Pour it down. With a muffled sound, the Wolf King's leg was broken and he fell to the ground with a howl. Now! Deal with them one by one. Yutong took advantage of the chaos and jumped up, using agility to dodge behind a lone wolf, and the sword blade scratched its back neck. Guan Yu laughed, girl, you did a great job. He strode forward, his sword flashed, and chopped down the remaining 3 in 2s and 2s. The last 2 saw the situation and ran away, disappearing into the forest. After the battle, wolf corpses were littered on the ground, and the smell of blood filled the air. Yutong panted and wiped the dagger. His hands were still shaking slightly, but his eyes were as bright as stars. Brother, our cooperation is invincible. Your swordsmanship is simply an art. Guan Yu sheathed his sword and patted her shoulder, but the force was still strong. You are a good leader. Without your analysis, I would have to fight hard, and the truck would have overturned. He turned to Lao Li, old man, keep walking. Wuying village is not far away. Lao Li came back to his senses and burst into tears of gratitude. You two are saviors. If you add 5 more silver coins, I will treat you outside the guild. In the afternoon, they arrived at Wuying village successfully. When the shopkeeper of the drugstore at the entrance of the village received the goods, his eyes widened, intact. The guards of the Bell Guild are well deserved. Yutong helped unload the boxes, and the panel dinged. The mission is completed. Experience plus 120. Wisdom plus 1, now 14, trade knowledge plus 1, unlocks, basic route assessment. Reputation plus 50. Improved team chemistry. The upgrade in perception makes the details around her clearer, like a filter. A new prompt pops up in trade knowledge, assess route risks and optimize freight efficiency. She felt like an upgraded character, and the joy of growth rushed into her heart. At dusk, on the way back to Bell, Guan Yu said as he walked, little girl, this trip was good. Challenge the line in Ironstone City next time. That will be exciting and there will be more competition. I heard that a rival guild is eyeing the medicinal material trade, and there are a lot of interceptions. Yutong nodded, and a shadow flashed in his mind. Well, you have to be careful. Brother, let's form a fixed team. I will be responsible for planning, and you charge. Deal. Guan Yu grinned. The guild hall was brightly lit, and there were people crowding around the bar as they turned in their tasks. After hearing what happened, Yi Noa's eyes lit up. Have you killed the Wolf King? Yutong, your leadership is the best among the newcomers in the guild. The adventurers around him whispered, and some cast envious glances. That little girl, I heard that she has a clairvoyance. Try to team up with her next time. A guy with a beard came over and asked in a low voice, Sister, I heard that you have a good business mind. Our group has a big deal, are you interested in chatting? Yutong politely refused with a smile, but the alarm bell rang in his heart. The smell of competition was already coming. As night fell, she and Guan Yu ate barbecue at a stall outside the guild, the firelight shining on their faces. The panel flickered slightly, suggesting new skills that she couldn't wait to try. The road to adventure seems to be getting wider and wider. The lights in Bell Town were scattered at night, and the smoke from the barbecue stalls was still clinging to Yutong's clothes. She and Guan Yu were walking and chatting, their footsteps making a brisk crunch on the stone pavement. The prompts on the panel were still echoing in her mind, and the newly unlocked, basic route assessment, made her feel like she had extra eyes, able to vaguely foresee the twists and turns on the road. Brother Guan Yu, the Ironstone City line sounds exciting, but what is the origin of the competitor you are talking about? Yutong asked, his eyes shining with curiosity in the moonlight. She thought of the look in the bearded guy's eyes, and felt uneasy. Guan Yu rubbed his chin and said in a low voice, there is a group called the Shadow Blade outside the guild, which specializes in keeping an eye on trade lines. They are not serious adventurers, but more of a gangster. They intercept goods, spread rumors, and do everything. If the guild is not strict, they will take advantage of the loopholes. The list last night, if you hadn't analyzed it accurately, would have been targeted by them. Yutong nodded, and his heart sank. The system's reputation has only increased a little, but the competition is so fierce. But she smiled and patted his arm, then we should be smarter. Brother, go to the guild early tomorrow morning to check out the new mission. I feel like my luck is booming. Okay, go to bed early. Don't let the howling of wolves come into your dreams. Guan Yu waved his hand and turned back to his dormitory. Yutong walked back to the hotel alone and lay on the bed. The panel automatically expanded, Perception LV, 2, Trade Knowledge LV, 1. Suggestion, take on intermediate tasks and improve teamwork. She closed her eyes, and the picture of the trade route appeared in her mind, like a game level that was about to start. Early the next morning, the guild hall was bustling with people, even more lively than yesterday. As soon as Yutong walked in, he smelled the smell of ink and parchment. There was a crowd of people in front of the task board. She squeezed past and scanned a pile of papers with her eyes. Sure enough, there was an eye-catching red-edged list, Advanced Transportation, Escort Iron Crystal ore to the border city of Ironstone City. Shipper, Bell Mining Guild. Route, crossing the Yellow Sand Canyon, it takes 3 days. Reward, 1 gold coin, plus experience and reputation. Requirements, a team of at least 3 people with experience in guarding. Potential risks, thieves' den, sandstorms. Yutong's heartbeat quickened, this was the Taishiching line mentioned by Guan Yu. The evaluation panel pops up, difficulty, medium to high. Risk points. The rate of thieves in the middle section of the canyon is 80%, and the weather variables are high. Success rate, depends on the team. She was about to tear up the order when Enoch's voice sounded from the side, little girl, this order is not simple. The Yellow Sand Canyon is a trade hotline, but the Shadow Blade gang likes to set up ambushes there. Ore is the lifeblood of Ironstone City. If the goods are lost, the guild will have to take the blame. Yutong turned around and saw Inua folding his arms and frowning slightly. Guan Yu also came closer, with the giant sword still slung behind his back. Sister, your information is accurate. The thieves' den in the canyon is hidden deep, and they specially dig holes to ambush trucks. Last year, a team lost half a truck of ore, and it has not been recovered yet. It's just because it's difficult that I want to take it. Sister, can you help us evaluate it? Yutong handed over the order, with a stubborn excitement in his tone. She felt this was an opportunity to level up, and the wolf pack battle last night made her confident. Inua sighed, spread out the atlas, and pointed at a winding yellow line. Okay, but listen to the warning. The shadow blade has an inside line and may send spies to follow you. Don't trust the good Samaritans on the roadside. Guanyu, you are experienced in guarding and teach her canyon tactics. The sand is slippery and don't let the carriage get stuck. Yutong, your route assessment can be of great help, but the weather is a variable. Sandstorms come quickly and block the sky. Understood. When we form a team, we will never lose control. Yutong patted his chest and pulled Guanyu straight to the bar. When registering, the boy at the bar looked at her twice. A newbie taking the iron and stone line? You are not shy. The owner of the goods is waiting at the Dongmen mine. The ore is packed in heavy boxes, so bring the ropes. Outside the east gate, the mining guild's truck is like a lump of iron. The truck is piled with iron crystal boxes that shine with blue light. Each box is heavy and gives off a metallic chill. The owner of the cargo was a short, fat miner with a face covered in soot. Girls, this batch of ore is worth 10 gold, and Ironstone City needs it urgently. Be careful of the shadow blade, they are jealous of this list. Boss, take care of us. Yutong climbed onto the roof of the car, Guanyu led the horse, and the team set off. The sun was dazzling, Bell Town was getting further away, the road turned to a loose slope, and the wind carried sand. The first day went smoothly. Guanyu shared his experience while walking. After entering the canyon, keep an eye on the high ground. Thieves like to throw stones or nets from above. The truck is heavy and turns slowly. You use the panel to predict the road conditions and I will cut off. Yutong nodded and tried to call up the new skill, route evaluation. The slope ahead is 15%, the sand is soft, it is recommended to slow down. She shouted, brother, slow down. This slope is slippery and the horse can easily slip. Guanyu listened to the advice, controlled the reins steadily, and avoided a hidden sand pit. In her heart, she thought, this is growth, no longer relying on luck, but all relying on data and team. In the afternoon, they entered the canyon. The stone walls on both sides were towering, and the wind howled like ghosts crying. The air was dry and hot, and Yutong's leather armor stuck to her body. Suddenly, the panel flashed red, detection abnormality, 50 meters behind, humanoid traces, non-local. Suspected stalker. Her heart tightened, and she whispered to Guanyu, brother, there is a tail behind you. He may be a spy of the shadow blade. Guanyu squinted his eyes and pretended to be fine. He walked around a boulder and pulled the reins to stop, get off the car and check the wheels. Yutong pretended to bend down and actually adjusted the panel. Hidden identity, shadow blade spy. Carry, signal smoke and map. Intent, mark the route and lure the main force. The guy is a tall and thin man, hiding behind a rock in the distance, secretly taking notes. Catch him. Yutong shouted, jumped up with agility, unsheathed his dagger and ran straight. Guanyu followed up and swung his giant sword to block the opponent's escape. Seeing that the situation was not good, the spy threw a smoke bomb and tried to run away, but Yutong's weakness analysis locked. Weakness, old injury to left leg, speed reduced by 30%. She stepped forward, tripped him with one foot, and put the tip of the sword to her throat. Tell me, who sent you here? The spy gasped and rolled his eyes. I was just passing by. I didn't do anything bad. Guanyu laughed, searched him, and pulled out the map and cartridges. Stop talking nonsense. I recognize the mark of shadow blade. Do you want to mark a trap to trap us? He pressed hard, and the spy screamed in pain. Okay. The boss asked me to follow and look for opportunities to stumble. There is an ambush in the middle of the canyon ahead, and the nets and falling rocks are all your ore. Yutong sneered, feeling the joy of strategy in his heart. Thanks to the panel, I discovered it earlier. She pressed for details. The trap was 2 kilometers away, hidden at the corner of the false gorge. After letting him go, Guan Yu smashed his cigarette bomb with a sword. Go away, boss, the Bell Guild is not someone to be trifled with. Continuing to move forward, Yutong used the panel to scan. Detection trap. In the corner ahead, there is a hidden network array and loose rocks. Suggestion: take a detour and lose 10 minutes. She directed the truck to turn into a narrow path and avoid the main road. Sure enough, when the wind blew around the corner, the rocks rolled down and the net bounced up. If it hadn't been avoided, the truck would have overturned. Phew, it's dangerous. The miner leader wiped his sweat. Girl, your eyesight saved my life. Guan Yu patted her on the shoulder. Girl, your mind is spinning fast. Without you, this trip would have been ruined. Yutong smiled. Brother, it was your sword that stabilized the situation. We are partners. On the second day, the canyon was deeper and the sand and wind blew heavily. The panel suddenly alerted. Weather forecast: a sandstorm is coming, with high intensity, and the field of vision will drop to 0 meters, lasting for 2 hours. Advice: find shelter and secure the van. Yutong was shocked. This function was newly unlocked after the perception upgrade. She shouted, Stop! The sandstorm is coming, there are caves ahead, hurry up. Guan Yu believed her and rushed towards the cave on the side wall. The wind and sand have rolled up the yellow mist, and the carriage is bumping like a boat. The leader of the miner was frightened. How do you know? This storm happened so suddenly. Yutong said while pulling the rope to fix the box. Intuition. Brother, use your cloak to cover the horse's eyes to prevent sand from getting in. The storm was like a ferocious beast, the sand crackled on the stone wall, and the outside world turned into chaos. They huddled in the cave, and Guan Yu talked about past events to relieve tension. 5 years ago, I was protecting a truck of spices and was also attacked. I didn't predict and lost half the team. Girl, your intuition is simply a magical skill. Yutong listened and felt warm in her heart. With a partner, you are not alone in this different world. After the storm passed, they checked the cargo, in perfect condition. Continuing on the road, the ironstone city wall looms, with tall towers standing like an iron fortress. At dusk on the 3rd day, the eyes of the iron and stone merchant who received the goods at the city gate lit up. There is no shortage of ore. Bell Guild, thank you. While unloading the goods, Yutong's panel rang loudly. Mission completed. Experience plus 300. Strategy plus 2, now LV.3, unlocked skill, trade negotiation, left .1, increases bargaining success rate by 20%, understands the other party's intentions. Reputation plus 150. Team support, high. Tips on trade negotiations excite her, it could help her get big business in the future. On the way back, Guan Yu said as he walked, Girl, you lead the army this time, and I will listen to you. Next time, the order will be bigger. Yutong nodded, and the guild's recognition flashed in his mind. She was no longer a newcomer, but a strategist. The Bell Guild was brightly lit, and the hall was quiet for a moment when they handed in their mission. After hearing this, Inua hugged Yutong and said, Have you passed the spy and the storm? Little girl, you are growing up so fast. The shadow blade is giving you a headache. The adventurers around him applauded, and someone shouted, Team Yutong, are you hiring? I'll follow Ironstone line. The guy with the beard looked at him from a distance, with complicated eyes. Late at night, Yutong sat alone in the hotel, his panel flashing new skills. She touched the dagger and looked out the window at the starry sky. The trade road hid more secrets, but with a team, she was not afraid. Yutong pushed open the wooden door of the hotel, and the morning light poured into the hall of Bell Guild, mixed with the smell of fresh bread and rust. She couldn't sleep last night, and her new skill, trade negotiation, was like a little secret, always making her think about a bigger plot. The guild was already lively, and adventurers were buzzing around the task board, and some even nodded to her. Ironstone City's list made her name spread. Good morning, Sister Yutong. During yesterday's escort trip, I heard that you outsmarted the Shadow Blade spies. An archer with a mustache came over, his eyes full of envy. My name is Kyle, specializing in long range. I heard that your team is recruiting people. I don't want to miss the tacit understanding of Ironstone Line. Yutong was stunned, and the panel automatically popped up with an evaluation, team expansion suggestion, add auxiliary characters to increase the overall combat efficiency by 20%. She smiled and patted Kyle on the shoulder. Brother Kyle? Okay, we are missing someone with sharp eyes. Where is Brother Guanyu? Sister, is Sister Inua here? Guanyu came from the long table in the corner, with the giant sword still hanging on his waist, with his usual silly smile on his face. Good morning, girl. The guild sent word last night that a new order has arrived, magic crystal transportation through the Grey Rock Mountains. The owner of the goods is the Magic Guild of Ironstone City, and the reward is 2 gold coins, plus rare materials. It is difficult, there are many monsters, but the reputation is doubled. Enoch poked her head from behind the bar and handed over a piece of parchment. Little girl, this list is suitable for your current momentum. The mountain route is dangerous, the crystal is the lifeblood of the magician, and high-level monsters like to guard there. The Shadow Blade is probably targeting them again. I will stay in the guild for remote support and use carrier pigeons to pass on information. You can lead Guanyu and the newcomers to practice leadership. Yutong took the note and glanced at it. Advanced transportation, escort the magic crystal to the border fortress. Route, Greystone Mountain Trail, 3 days. Risks, Warcraft Lair, competitive ambush. Requirements, 4-person team with magic resistance. Panel flashes, difficulty, high. Success rate, 65%, subject to leadership decision. Suggestion, integrate the team and anticipate weaknesses. She felt hot in her heart, this is the rhythm of upgrade. Okay, let's take it. Brother Kyle, you can follow. Boss, where is the goods? The goods yard is in the east of the town, and the magic crystal box emits a faint blue light, pulsating like a living gem. The owner of the cargo was a tall and thin magician wearing a monocle. He frowned and said, Girl, this batch of crystals is worth half of the magic inventory in the city. There are rock lizard monsters in the mountains, high-level ones that can spit fire and magma. The Shadow Blade heard the news and sent people to explore the way. Be careful, they not only grab the goods, but also want to destroy the line. Master, don't worry. We have more eyes than them. Yutong was confident and climbed onto the modified reinforced carriage. The body was wrapped in anti-magic leather and the wheels were widened to prevent slipping. Guanyu led the horse in front, Kyle climbed on the roof to mount the bow, and Yutong sat in the passenger seat, adjusting the panel to monitor the route. The team set off, and the bells of Belltown rang behind them, like a farewell drum. On the first day, the road was relatively smooth, with the shadows of the limestone mountains approaching and the smell of sulfur filling the air. Guanyu taught Kyle while walking, there are many monsters in the mountains, and rock lizards like to hide in caves. Girl, how do you rank? Yutong glanced at the panel, route evaluation, the slope ahead is steep, and the monster infestation rate is 40%. Suggestion, Guanyu is the forward, I am the midfielder, and Kyle is the defender. Brother, you cut off the front line, and Kyle keeps an eye on the rear. I'll use the panel scan. If there's an ambush, we'll attack first. Kyle laughed and stretched his bow to try the string. The leader has the final say. Sister Yutong, your panel sounds like a magic prop. I've heard the rumors about the iron stone wire. It's awesome. In the afternoon, they entered the mountains. The path was so narrow that the carriage was dangerously squeezed through. The rock walls on both sides were covered with moss, and there was a faint roar. Suddenly, the panel flashed red, detecting high-level threats. 200 meters ahead, a group of rock lizards, 3 LV4. Weaknesses: soft armor on the abdomen, it takes 10 seconds to charge up the fire lava. Yutong shouted, "Stop! The monster is coming, brother, come on." Guan Yu jumped off the carriage, unsheathed his giant sword, and rushed towards the cracked rock crack ahead. 3 behemoths sprang out, 5 meters long, with scales like iron, and red-hot magma spewed out of their mouths. Guan Yu dodged to avoid the first wave of attacks, and slashed at Tongto's legs with sword light. "Girl, where is the weak point? This thing is thick-skinned." "Abdomen." "Wait until it finishes spraying, Kyle, shoot the eyes." Yutong commanded, and the panel updated in real time. Rock lizard status, charging, movement slowed down by 15%. Kyle's arrows were like rain, hitting one in the eye, and the beast roared and rolled in pain. Guan Yu seized the opportunity and pierced the soft armor of his abdomen with his sword, causing green blood to spurt out. The second one rushed at him, and the lava grazed his armor, burning black smoke, but he stabilized his body and blocked it with his backhand. Yutong's heart beat like a drum, and something flashed through his heart. This is the leader, trusting the team. She calls on new skills for trade negotiations? No, this is a fight. Panel switching, team collaboration improvement, tacit understanding plus 10%, damage bonus. The third rock lizard turned to the carriage. She jumped up and used basic sword skills to block the claw attack. The dagger swiped across the scales. Kyle, last hit. The battle raged, and the sound of shattering rocks echoed throughout the valley. Guan Yu gasped and sheathed his sword. "Kill it. Girl, your analysis saved the day." Kyle wiped his sweat and said, "This is the first time I see such a match. Yutong, you were born to be the leader." As night fell, they set up camp in a cave. An Enoch's carrier pigeon flew over with a note, "Intelligence. The main force of Shadow Blades set up an ambush in the middle of the mountain, a 5-person team, armed with crossbows and poison nets. Watch out for false signs and take the trail to the left. The guild keeps an eye on it, come on." Yutong read it to everyone, and everyone nodded. Guan Yu roasted the monster meat. "Sister's information is accurate, I will treat her to a drink next time. Girl, you will lead the way tomorrow." Early the next morning, the mountain wind was biting, and they moved forward along the trail. The panel monitoring was stable until the mid-turn, detection of ambush, hidden on the flanks, 5 humanoid targets. Equipment, heavy crossbow, poison net. Intent, to cut off the goods and destroy the line. Yutong whispered, "Shadow Blade. Brother, front line suppression, Kyle shoots far, I will analyze it." As soon as he finished speaking, arrows rained down from the rock. Guan Yu roared and rushed forward, blocking the crossbow arrows with his sword. "Come on." He leaped to the high ground and mowed down the 2 ambushers with one sword. Kyle fired back, hitting one man in the shoulder with an arrow, and the guy rolled down with a groan. Yutong stared at the panel, and the data flashed. Enemy weaknesses: the leader's right arm has an old injury, and the shooting accuracy is reduced by 25%, the poison net is flammable and will fail when exposed to fire. Team weaknesses: poor coordination, internal suspicion. The leader is there, the tall one. His arm is injured. Kyle, shoot the right shoulder. Yutong shouted. Kyle hit the target with an arrow, and the leader screamed in pain, and the crossbow fell to the ground. The remaining 2 people threw the poison net to cover the carriage, but Guan Yu threw out a torch, the trophy rock lizard oil ignited, and the net was instantly burned. Yutong took advantage of the chaos and jumped up, and analyzed the weakness of the last person. Weakness, fear of heights, high imbalance rate on the cliff. She pushed him a step, and the guy screamed and fell off the cliff. After the melee ended, Guan Yu tied up the prisoner. "Tell me, why is your boss so focused on the crystal?" The prisoner vomited blood. "Shadow Blade wants to monopolize the mountain line. I heard that you have an artifact panel, and I have been targeting you for a long time." Yutong's heart sank, and the panel suddenly flashed abnormally. Hidden prompt trigger: the system originates from the ancient magic ruins, L ruins. Similar energy is detected and it is recommended to explore the ruins' coordinates. What? Ancient ruins? Her mind was buzzing. This panel was not a time travel welfare, but something with a background. Questions arose in my heart. Why did it choose me? Is there a conspiracy behind it? She shook her head to suppress her thoughts, searched the prisoner, and pulled out Shadow Blade's map. Brother, burn it. Keep on going, this trip can't be dirty. Guan Yu nodded. Girl, your counterattack is handsome. The team listens to you, that's right. On the third day, at the end of the mountains, the magic tower of the border fortress stood high in the clouds. When the owner received the goods, his eyes widened. The crystals are intact. Girls, did you block the Shadow Blade ambush? The Union will credit you. The moment the goods were unloaded, the panel rang loudly. Mission completed. Experience plus 500. Leadership plus 3, now LV.2, unlocked skills, crisis prediction, increases ambush detection rate by 30%. Reputation plus 300. Team loyalty, extremely high. On the way back to Bell, Yutong rode in front, the wind blowing his hair. Guan Yu followed. Girl, this team expansion went well. Kyle said that he will follow suit when placing orders. Kyle smiled from behind. Yes, Leader Yutong, the tacit understanding in the mountains is worth gold coins. The guild hall was full, and Inua came forward and hugged Yutong. Little girl, the pigeon said that you counterattacked the Shadow Blade? There is no shortage of crystals, and the guild leader personally approved it. The badge is here for mid-level adventurers. She handed over the silver-edged badge, and the adventurers around cheered, and someone shouted, Team Yutong, the mountain line is open. The bearded man applauded from a distance, his eyes no longer complex, but admiration. Yutong put on the badge and felt a little heavier on her shoulders. She had grown up, but the system's hidden hints were like shadows, how to dig out the secrets of ancient ruins. She looked at Guan Yu and Kyle and smiled. Brother, the next trip will be bigger. Let's take on the guild's road. Yutong squeezed out from the noise of the guild hall, the silver-edged badge dangling slightly on her chest, like a newly recognized brother, reminding her that the weight on her shoulders was heavier again. Guan Yu and Kyle were still clinking glasses with the adventurers behind them, laughing and bragging about their counterattack in the mountains, but she went straight to Enoch's bar. The hidden reminder in her mind was like a thorn, pricking her heart. Ancient ruins? Ruins of El. What the hell is hidden in this panel? Boss, what are you busy with? Yutong leaned against the bar and lowered his voice. In the last crystal mission, something strange popped up on the panel. It said that the system originated from the El ruins, and similar energy was detected. Are there any rumors in the guild? Don't hide it from me, I feel that this matter is not simple. Enoch's hand wiping the wine glass paused, and a trace of vigilance flashed in her eyes. She pulled Yutong to the back hall, closed the door, and said in a low voice, Little girl, your panel. The elders of the guild have heard about it for a long time. The Air Ruins was a lost place 500 years ago. It is said that it contains ancient trade treasures and can control the flow of goods across the continent. The trade empire at that time relied on the magical heritage there to monopolize routes and became rich. But after the ruins collapsed, the secret treasures were scattered, and some people said that they turned into fragments of the system to recognize the time traveler or the chosen one. Yutong's eyes widened. Recognize the master. Then did I find a treasure or cause trouble? Why didn't the guild tell me earlier? Enoch sighed and handed over an old yellowed book. It's just a rumor, but the Shadow Blade has been making a lot of noise recently. I heard that they colluded with a mysterious organization, the Ruins Watcher, and wanted to dig up the ruins and control the trade lines. Herbs and crystal stones are all just a cover. They are trying to steal the ruins' coordinates. The guild is keeping an eye on it, but there is little evidence. If you encounter it, don't rush in and tell me. She patted Yutong on the shoulder. Girl, it's good to grow up quickly, but don't be too aggressive. The conspiracy is deep, so be careful. Yutong's heart sank, and a thought flashed through her mind. This is not just an adventure, it is a journey of digging roots. She nodded and put away the booklet. Thank you, boss, I understand. Next, Is there a rare medicinal herb transportation mission to Mist Hidden City on the edge of the ruins? I heard that the route leads to the outskirts of the ruins, so I took Tantan. Enoch frowned. That order is high risk. The goods are moon shadow grass, a rare thing that can cure magic poisoning. It is a 5-day road from Bell to Mist Hidden City, passing through fog forests and cliffs. There are many unknown monsters. The reward is 3 gold coins and ruins map fragments. But Shadow Blade is targeting it, and the organization may also take action. Are you sure? Confirmed. The team has expanded. Follow me, buddy, and I will lead. Yutong smiled, turned around and went out to find Guan Yu and the others. In front of the guild mission board, Guan Yu was making sword moves with Kyle. When he saw her coming, he grinned. Girl, new badge flash. What's next? Mist Hidden City, Yunyu Shadow Grass. High risk, the route has Warcraft boss level. Brother, have you strengthened your equipment? The rock lizard burnt the armor last time. Yutong said, and the panel popped up, Mission Preview, Advanced Transportation. Difficulty, extremely high. Success rate, 55%, based on teamwork. Recommendation, strengthen defense and upgrade command skills. Guan Yu touched his chin. Okay, I'll go to the blacksmith shop to upgrade the giant sword and add a layer of World of Warcraft scales. Kyle, please change the bowstring to something special for the fog forest, a moisture-proof arrow. Kyle nodded. No problem, the leader has the final say. I heard that there are phantom wolves in the fog forest, so your eyes need to be sharp. In the goods yard, the boxes of moon shadow grass emit a faint silver light, like the moonlight at night. The owner of the cargo was an old pharmacist. He stroked his beard and said, Girl, this grass can save lives. The Magic Academy in Hidden Mist City is in urgent need of it. There are many cliffs on the route, and monsters love to ambush in the mist. Be careful of the ruins watchers, they steal information and specialize in grabbing rare goods. Master, take care of us. Yutong climbed onto the carriage. This time, fog forest wheels and anti-phantom amulets were added to the carriage. Guan Yu led the horse in front, his new sword shining coldly. Kyle got on the roof of the car, his bow ready. She sat on the center console, and the panel monitoring started. The team set off, and the fog in Bell became thicker, as if God was holding his breath. On the first and second days, we passed through the plains and entered the foggy forest. The air was humid and the trees were covered with shadows. Guan Yu chatted while walking. Girl, do you believe the rumors about the ruins that Inua told me? Is the panel really that amazing? Yutong glanced at the panel. Energy signs. Deep in the misty forest ahead, similar ruins fluctuate by 10%. Half the letter. The boss gave me the notebook and said that Shadow Blade colluded with the organization to steal the secret trade treasure. We are here to protect the grass and explore it by the way. Kyle shouted from behind, Leader, the information is here. The carrier pigeon said that there is a false road sign in the fog forest, and it goes around the cliff path on the right. On the third day in the afternoon, at the edge of the cliff, the wind howled, and below was a sea of fog. Suddenly, the panel flashed red, detecting large threats. The cliff ahead, the fog shadow beast boss, left. 6. Weakness, core crystal core, it takes 15 seconds for the magic mist to charge up. Accompanied by a small pack of wolves. Yutong shouted, Stop the car. The boss is coming, the big guy in the fog. The mist rolled, and a huge black shadow jumped out, 10 meters long, with hair like steel needles, red eyes, and a dozen phantom wolves roaring around it. The boss swiped his claws and the cliff stone shattered. Guan Yu jumped up to block it. Girl, where's the weakness? This thing has strong illusions and is dazzling. The panel data jumps wildly, the state of the fog shadow beast, the phantom fog spreads, and the field of vision is reduced by 50%. Teamwork, upgrade opportunities, leadership triggers advancement. Yutong's heartbeat quickened, and a flash occurred in his mind. This is a test, trust the team, upgrade the command. She shouted, Panel, Upgrade, Tactical Command. Left point 1 is unlocked. The whole team listens to orders. Guan Yu, suppress the boss's legs from the front line, break the phantom fog. Kyle, shoot the eyes of the wolves, reduce reinforcements. I control the center, lock the core, and wait for the gap to charge. After finishing his words, the panel rang. Skill upgrade, tactical command, left point 1, increase team damage by 20%, coordination plus 30%. Guan Yu's sword light was like a dragon, slashing at the boss's hind legs, and the scales protected the claws. I listen to you, girl. My legs are weak. The boss roared in pain, and the phantom mist dispersed slightly, revealing the faint light of the crystal core in its abdomen. Kyle rained down arrows and shot down the 3 wolves. The leader is crazy. The wolves are in chaos. The wolves were in chaos. Yutong jumped off the carriage, used crisis prediction to dodge a wolf claw, and stabbed the boss in the side with his short sword, charged, 15 seconds countdown. Guan Yu, jump up and chop the core. Kyle, rocket detonates the fog. The battle is like fire, and the cliff wind is howling. The boss sprayed out illusory mist, and everyone's vision was blurred, but with the blessing of tactical command, they had a tacit understanding. Guan Yu used Kyle's arrow to rebound, jumped on the boss's back, and pierced the crystal core with his sword. Hit. Green blood spattered, the boss fell to the ground, and the wolves scattered. Yutong gasped, and the panel updated, defeat the boss. Experience plus 800. Tactical command LV.2, unlocks team buff, Mist Forest adaptation. Guan Yu wiped his sword and smiled. Girl, this commander is so handsome. The team listens to you, invincible. Kyle jumped down. Yes, the leader is mature, even in the fog. Searching the boss's body, Yutong dug out a jade tablet engraved with runes. Detection, Ruin Watcher's mark. The intelligence stealer has recorded the moon shadow grass route. She frowned. No, competitor. This belongs to Shadow Blade, but Rune is organized. They colluded, stole information, and wanted to cut off the Hu Ruins line. The panel flashed, conspiracy revealed, the Watcher intends to monopolize the herb trade, and the Ruins coordinates are locked. Suggestion, destroy the Jade token and report it to the guild. Guan Yu smashed the Jade token. Girl, burn it. Keep rushing, we will dig out this conspiracy sooner or later. Kyle nodded. Leader, Hidden Mist City is coming soon. The team is determined to break through the ruins with you. On the 4th and 5th days, at the end of the cliff, the stone walls of Kirigakure City loomed, and the magic lights were like stars. The owner received the box and was pleasantly surprised. The moon shadow grass is intact. Girl, did you block the boss? The academy will reward you with map fragments, plus 5 gold coins. While unloading, the panel rang loudly. Mission completed. Experience plus 1000. Reputation plus 500. Unlock advanced features, trade efficiency optimization, automatic plus 25% route planning, automatic quotation module. Team loyalty, peak. Yutong touched the new badge and looked into the depths of the mist. The call of the ruins was getting closer. Guan Yu patted her on the shoulder. Girl, go straight to the ruins next time. The organization is targeting us, but with your command, what are we afraid of? Kyle smiled. Yes, leader, the guild's trade empire starts from here. She nodded, and there was a rush of enthusiasm in her heart. Growth is not about walking alone, but leading a team to overcome obstacles. But the shadow of conspiracy has stretched the tail of Wu Lin, and their path must be solid step by step. The stone wall of Kirigakure City was still swaying behind his head. As soon as Yutong stepped into the Bell Guild Hall, he felt the smoke of fireworks in the air getting thicker. The adventurers glanced at each other, and some people whispered, I heard that the girl led the team to defeat the Mist Shadow Beast boss, and the Moon Shadow Grass was not damaged at all. The academy also rewarded the map fragments. Guan Yu followed behind, carrying a giant sword on his shoulder, and Kyle's bowstring sounded softly. The 3 of them were like victorious knights, and the silver-edged badges on their chests were dizzying. Leader, the guild is boiling. Kyle winked excitedly. Last time the mountain range counterattacked, this time the fog forest boss. Our team has become famous. The leader must have a big order waiting for him. Yutong smiled and walked straight to Inua's bar. The panel flickered at the edge of the field of vision. Reputation plus 500, peak team loyalty. Recommendation, expand the team and unlock the exclusive trade mode. She felt warm in her heart. This trip to the foggy forest not only improved her command skills, but also made her friends determined to join her. Seeing her coming, Inua put down the wine bottle, with a bit more pride in his eyes. Girl, are you back? The owner of the consignor in Hidden Mist City sent a message, and the academy was full of praise for you. They used the crystal core of the boss's corpse to study magic neutralizer, and rewarded them with an extra 2 gold coins. Tell me, what's the next step? Boss, the team is stable, but the jade token in Wulin was burned, and I'm still worried. The ruins watchers are keeping an eye on the trade routes, so we have to take the initiative. Yutong lowered his voice. Does the guild have a cross-border transportation mission? It's best to have desert and sea routes, and the goods are valuable and can lead to organizational clues. I want to form an exclusive trade team, with Guan Yu and the others as the core, plus 2 newcomers, a mage to control the field, and a scout to specialize in escorts. Enoch nodded and opened the mission book. Just in time, there is a list. From Bell to the remote Shanghai port, escort a batch of star gems. This cargo is a magic amplification stone, worth 50 gold coins, and the destination is the trade center of the eastern continent. The route first passes through the yellow sand desert, and takes 3 days by land. Then transfer to the ship and cross the Storm Sea, a 5-day journey. The risk is high, there are swarms of sandworms in the desert, and thieves are rampant on the sea. The owner of the goods is an old friend of the guild, and the reward is 10 gold and port privileges. But I heard that the Shadow Blade and the Watcher are active, and the gem can activate the energy of the ruins, and they may be evil. Guan Yu came closer and his eyes lit up when he heard, desert sandworm. That thing burrows into the ground like a knife. I am familiar with sea defense, swordsmanship and oars. I can chop down thieves one by one. Girl, pick it up. Take it. Boss, you can help negotiate the port tax. The checkpoints at Shanghai port are strict and you have plenty of experience. Yutong turned to Kyle. You contact the newcomers. The mage is called Leah, who specializes in sand and dust barriers. The scout is Xiaofeng, who has first-class stealth skills. The team is 5 people, and it is an exclusive trade team, starting from this trip. Inua smiled and sighed. Okay, I will go with the team to the port, and I will pay the taxes. Girl, you have grown wiser, no longer work alone, and can lead the team steadily. But remember, panel prediction is the key, don't let the conspiracy get close. She handed over the contract, Yutong signed it, and the panel rang. Mission accepted, transnational gem transportation. Difficulty, extreme. Forecasting function upgrade, crisis prediction LV.2, warning 10 minutes in advance. Team expansion, leadership +1. The goods yard is bustling, the star gem box is tightly sealed with wax, and the blue light inside is faint, like fragments of the night sky. The fat businessman, the owner of the cargo, patted Yutong on the shoulder. Girl, the guild has praised you. The desert and sea routes are dangerous, but with your command, I feel at ease. Be careful of the watchers, they steal information like ghosts. The team is assembled. Guan Yu is leading the desert camel, Leah is wearing a cloak, and her cane is shining with sand patterns. Xiaofeng is thin and thin, with a dagger looming on his waist. Kyle is on the saddle, Yutong is in the main car, and the panel monitoring is fully turned on. When setting off, the entrance of the guild was crowded with people, cheering, rising star of trade, let's break into the sand sea. The shadow of Hidden Mist City faded, and the new road was filled with excitement. On the first day, the sky was filled with yellow sand and camel bells were jingling. Leah chatted while walking. Leader, I heard that you are a very handsome commander in the fog forest. My sand barrier can block the swarms of insects, but the gems have strong energy and will attract monsters. Xiaofeng explored the path in front and whispered, there is no difference behind the dunes, the wind and sand are normal. Guan Yu waved his sword to clear the way, and his sweat evaporated. Girl, this desert is sweltering, I will wait for the sea route. The pirate ship is coming, let's see the truth on the deck. Yutong nodded, and the panel was calm. Route evaluation, desert section, 50% of the sandworm active area. She flashed in her heart, new blood in the team needs to have a tacit understanding. This is the fire of growth. At dusk on the second day, the sand dunes were like waves, and the scorching sun stretched out the shadows. Suddenly, the panel flashed red, crisis prediction, sand sea ahead, sandworm swarm attacks, medium-sized. Weaknesses, head tentacles, collective squirming takes 5 minutes to charge. With wind and sand cover. Yutong shouted, stop. The insect swarm is coming, the whole team is in a defensive circle. The ground trembled, sand waves rolled up, and more than a dozen giant insects sprang out, each head 3 meters long, with tentacles like whips and mouthparts dripping acid. Leah waved her staff, sand barrier. The yellow sand swirled up, blocking the first wave of charges. Xiaofeng became invisible and moved to the flank. Leader, surround the car behind with 3 heads. Guan Yu, cut the tentacles on the front line to break their rhythm. Kyle, shoot the arrow in the head. Leah, maintain the barrier, I will lock the weak point. Yutong jumped on the roof of the car, the panel data jumped wildly. Tactical command triggers, team damage plus 20%. Prediction, after 3 minutes of charging, the insect king will appear. Guan Yu's sword light was like the wind, cutting off 2 tentacles. Girl, you are so accurate. The insect has softened. The acid splashed on the ground, and the camel screamed, but the barrier was stable. Kyle fired a series of arrows and shot through the eyes of a bug. Leader, the car behind is safe. Xiaofeng's dagger was like a shadow, stabbing the joint of the bug on the side. Swarms of insects were scurrying around, and larger shadows loomed in the dust. Yutong's heart beat faster. This is a test, and it is useful to predict upgrades. She shouted, panel, optimize the route. The whole team retreats to the left hill, and the insect king appears. Leia, blast it with sand and dust. The barrier imploded, the sand waved like a tidal wave, and the insect king burst out of the sand, doubling in size and dancing wildly with its tentacles. Guan Yu took advantage of the situation and jumped up, stabbing his head with a sword. Hit. Green juice splashed out, and the insect swarm collapsed, scattering into the ground. Leia gasped, Leader, we have a tacit understanding. This prediction, help. Panel update, defeat the sandworm swarm. Experience plus 600. Crisis prediction LV.3, unlocks multiple crisis chain predictions. Team buff, desert adaptation. While searching the corpse, Xiaofeng picked up a metal fragment. This, the Watchman's emblem? Is it engraved with system module? Leader, look. Yutong took it and scanned the panel. Detection, ruin fragments, pseudo-system energy. Carried by members of the Watch and used to steal trade data. Clues, they implant fake modules to control the flow of goods and monopolize mainland trade. She frowned, no, this is something from the devil within the organization. The swarm of insects was attracted, maybe they are responsible for it. Brother, keep chasing, but I will sneak in at night to investigate. Guan Yu clenched his fist and said, Girl, it's dangerous. But you're smart, I'll protect you. On the 3rd day, at the end of the desert, the lights of Shanghai port loomed. Inuo is already waiting at the dock, and the tax negotiation went smoothly. The tax is halved, the owner of the cargo thanks you. The ship is the guild sailing ship. Guan Yu went up to the deck to defend, and I stayed at the port to take care of it. Turning the ship around, the storm and waves surged, and the gem box was locked in the bilge. Leah controls the sail, while Xiaofeng watches. Guan Yu patrol deck, it smells like pirates. Girl, what's the prediction? The panel flashed, risk at sea, 3 pirate ships, intercepted within 2 hours. Weaknesses, the ship's sides are weak and can be attacked at night. Yutong nodded, hold on, we'll do it at night. As night falls, the sea breeze howls. Suddenly, the horn sounded, and 3 black sailboats surrounded them, their hooks and claws flying and locking. The thief shouted, "Hand over the gems and spare your life." Guan Yu's sword was unsheathed. "Here we come." "Girl, order." The whole team is preparing for battle. Guan Yu, the deck suppression hook; Kyle, the shooter; Leah, the storm barrier to block the cannon; Xiaofeng, sneak into the enemy ship and cut off the rope; I control the cabin, predict the chain. The panel flashed continuously, multiple crises, the first wave of shelling, the second wave of boarding, and the third wave of fire attack. The resolution rate is 85%. Leah danced with her staff, and the sea breeze formed a wall to block the artillery fire. Guan Yu's sword cut the hook. "Girl, the side is broken." Kyle's arrows were like rain. "The helmsman is down." Xiaofeng jumped into the ship invisible, cutting the rope with his dagger, and the black sail tilted. Yutong is in the cabin, and the panel is locked. Fire attack prediction: the enemy ship ignites fire oil, 30 seconds. She rushed forward. "Guan Yu, fight back. Use the wind to push them into the rocks." Guan Yu roared, his sword energy caused waves, the tempest slid sideways, 3 enemy ships collided with each other, kerosene spontaneously ignited, and the explosion was loud. After the war, there were corpses floating on the sea. Yutong searched the enemy ships and found the scroll, Watcher's secret order: implant the system module in the trade team, and steal the energy of the gem to activate the core of the ruins. Goal: monopolize the eastern continent sea route and control global cargo flow. Insider, Guild Lurker. She was shocked. The conspiracy is deep and the system is related. This is the root cause. Inner Flash: I can't just sit back and wait, I have to dig. Leader: this scroll, the organization wants to become a trade overlord? Xiaofeng asked. Guan Yu wiped his sword. "Girl, sneak into their camp. There is a stronghold outside Shanghai port, I will protect you." Yutong decided, "Okay, let's move tonight. Leah will guard the ship and Kyle will be on guard. I will take Xiaofeng and Guan Yu to steal information." It was dark at the port, and Inua whispered, "Be careful. During the tax negotiation, I heard that the watchman camp is in Reef Bay. I will provide remote support." The infiltration went smoothly. Xiaofeng became invisible and opened the way, and the camp torch flickered. Yutong leaned against the wall and listened, and the 2 watchmen whispered, "The panel of the time-traveling girl is a real fragment. Once the gems are shipped, our module will be able to counter-control and monopolize the entire line. The ghost in the guild has reported, intercept her." Panel prediction: alert raised, patrol for 5 minutes. Yutong signaled, sneaking into the tent, stealing the map and chips, unlocked, the coordinates of the ruins, the full picture of the system's conspiracy. The Watchers use fake modules to corrupt the real system and control the revival of the trade empire. When escaping, a patrol approached. Guan Yu knocked them unconscious with a sword. After the wind died down, the 3 of them slipped back to the boat. On the 5th day, the storm sea was over, and the East Continent pier was bustling. The owner of the goods received the gems and exclaimed, "No damage. Girls, you are legends." Enoch patted the shoulder, "If the tax is passed, the guild will reward you." "Girl, I will report this information to the boss." Returning to the Bell Guild, Yutong came on stage and showed the scroll. "The Watchers' conspiracy has been exposed. They want to monopolize trade, and we have to fight back." The hall was boiling, and adventurers cheered, "Queen of Trade. Fight with the leader." The panel rang, mission completed. Experience plus 1,200. Reputation explodes. Unlocked, independent trade line planning, automatic optimization plus 50%. Leadership LV.3. Guan Yu smiled, "Girl, your prestige has been established. Next step, the independent line goes straight to the ruins?" Leah and Xiaofeng said in unison, "I will follow you." Yutong looked out the window at the horizon, and the fire of wisdom surged in his heart. Investigation and adventure are one, and she will lead the team to the end. The lights of the guild were bright, and new plans were forming in their minds. The lights in the guild hall flickered like a festival. Adventurers gathered in a circle, wine glasses clinked, and someone shouted, "Queen of Trade, overthrow the Watcher." Yutong stood on the stage, the scroll in his hand still rolled up, with a smile on his face, but the fire in his heart was burning brightly. She glanced at everyone and said in a steady voice, "Brother, this conspiracy is not small. The Watchers want to use the pseudo-system to control the trade lines. We can't wait for them to take action first. The guild must unite and form a counterattack team, starting from the independent line, and go straight to the ruins to dig roots." Guan Yu leaned against the pillar, his giant sword polished brightly, and winked at her. "Girl, you're right. The team of 5 is stable. Xiaofeng and I will practice night attack, Kyle's arrows, and Leah's field control. I heard that the thing in the ruins contains ancient energy. Let's go and have a look." Leah nodded and tapped the cane under her cloak. "Ground, leader, my storm barrier has been upgraded and can block the forest fog. The Watchers are tough, let's sharpen them with soft knives." Xiaofeng's thin figure squeezed forward, dagger twirling around his waist. "I have collected all the information. There is a branch line outside the Reef Bay camp that leads to the Forbidden Forest, and their warehouse is where the goods are stored." Inoue came from behind the bar with a serious face and patted Yutong on the shoulder. "Girl," the guild leader agreed, "the counterattack task is listed. Transport a batch of destruction crystal powder, which is a magical explosive agent that can blow up fake ruins modules. The destination is deep in the enemy area. The reward is doubled, but the risk is off the charts, traveling through the Forbidden Forest, guarded by monsters, and traps everywhere. Do you want to take it?" Yutong did not hesitate. The panel flashed in the field of vision. Mission proposal, revenge transportation. Difficulty, fatal. Prediction, the success rate is 62%, and leadership level 3 is required to trigger the team buff. She took a deep breath. "Take it. This is the stage for our growth. The whole team is here, and Guan Yu is the guard. Ino, you will be in charge of the guild, and the information will be passed on at any time." The cheers in the hall became louder, and Kyle raised his bow. "Leader, we have passed through the Desert Sea route. What is this forest?" Rain of arrows washes the ground. In the midst of the excitement, suddenly a black shadow flashed outside the window, the door panel burst into pieces, and a dozen masked men broke in, with swords shining like snow. The leader yelled, "The Watchers are coming. Cut the scroll and kill the girl who traveled through time." The air tightened instantly, the wine glasses hit the ground, and the adventurers raided the guys, but the intruders went straight to Yutong, and the pseudo-system halo flickered on their belts, like cheap magic lamps. Defense circle. Guan Yu, block from the front. Kyle, shoot the leg. Leah, raise the barrier. Yutong shouted, jumped off the stage. The panel's red alert flashed wildly. Scale of attack, medium. Enemy pseudomodule, energy simulation LV.1, weak point, overload and explosive. Crisis chain, first wave of charge, second wave of fire attack. Guan Yu's sword was like lightning, sweeping across the 3 of them. "Girl, here we come. These guys are stiff, fake things are useless." He picked up the leader's belt with his sword, the halo exploded, the masked man screamed and fell to the ground, and the burning smell dissipated. Inoue rushed out from the back kitchen, the golden light of the staff in her hand flashed. "My guild, get out." She hit the ground with the head of her staff, and the earth wall rose to block the flank invasion. The experienced woman roared, "Yutong, analyze their belts, I will suppress the back row." Kyle's bowstring buzzed, and arrows were like bees, shooting through the 2 family members who were trying to get around. "Guy, leader, 3 legs are broken, the barrier is stable." Leah's cloak flew up, and the wind and sand swirled around the center of the hall. "Forest storm, I'll lend it to you." The sand and dust blurred the eyes, and the intruders were in a mess. Xiaofeng sneaked to Yutong's side, and the dagger slit one person's throat. "Leader, the fire attack is coming, the back door." Yutong's heartbeat was like a drum, but the panel data was like a beacon. She squatted down to pick up the fallen belt fragments, and scanned her vision, analyzing. Pseudo-system module confirmation, derived from ruins power fragments, not a real system. Function, steal trade data and control low-level monsters. The core of the conspiracy, the Watchers excavated the ruins and reproduced the panel fragments with the intention of corrupting the true system and establishing a trade empire. Hidden secret, the real system has a backlash mechanism. Overloaded counterfeit products will detonate the energy of the ruins and counter-control the user. Her eyes lit up. Brother, this is a clue. Their fake thing comes from the old power of the ruins, and they want to counter-control my panel, but there is a flaw, overload explosion. Guan Yu, smash their belts. Inua, push the wall closer. Guan Yu laughed, his sword energy was like a wave, and he slashed the belts of 4 people in succession. There were continuous explosions, and the intruders scurried away. Girl, this is amazing. These fakes are as brittle as paper. With a wave of Inua's staff, the wall of earth was pushed like waves, crushing the torches in the back row, and the flames came back. Enemy, little girl, you have become more capable. The guild is stable, the leader will lead people to block the door. Xiaofeng's dagger was like a shadow, cutting off the legs of the 3 people behind him. Leader, 5 of them ran away, chasing. Yutong shook his head. No, leave someone alive to ask. Team, finish. The smoke from the battle cleared and the hall was in a mess, but no one was seriously injured. The adventurers gasped and gathered around, and Inua handcuffed the 2 prisoners. Tell me, who instigated it? The prisoners gritted their teeth. The Watchers will not spare you. The power of the ruins will swallow the real panel. Yutong came closer and scanned the panel again. Captive intelligence, the organization retaliated due to intelligence leakage, and the warehouse hid a stock of fake modules in the heart of the Forbidden Forest. She turned to the team. This attack is revenge, confirming the depth of the conspiracy. The revenge mission, start now. Transport the crystal powder, go straight to the warehouse, and blow up their routes. The night was dark, and the carriage was ready outside the guild. The crystal powder box was destroyed to seal the magic seal, and the blue light was faint. Guan Yu carried the box and got into the car. Girl, the forest is taboo. I heard that the monsters are guarded by tree spirits, so I will clear the way with my sword. Leah nodded. I will upgrade the barrier, and I will control the forest fog. Xiaofeng explored the way ahead. I will make the way invisible, and mark the trap. Kyle strung his bow. Guard the rear with arrows. Leader, what's the prediction? Yutong sat in the driver's seat, and the panel rang. Mission started. Revenge transport. Crisis prediction LV.3 is triggered. Multi-chain prediction. Forest section. 80% protection of monsters, and traps layer by layer. Skill upgrade suggestions. Tactical command LV.3. Unlock team spiritual chain. Tacit understanding plus 30%. She felt hot in her heart. This is a turning point. The team is like family and must be protected. 2 days after setting off, we entered the Forbidden Forest, where the shadows of the trees were like ghosts and the mist wrapped around them. The bell rang low and the carriage moved slowly. Xiaofeng suddenly turned invisible and reported, Leader, the vine trap ahead is engraved with fake runes. If you step on it, you will summon the tree spirit. Yutong's panel flashed. Trap analysis. Ruins pseudo-force driven. Weak point, neutralized by crystal powder. Take the left path to avoid the main vine. Turn left. Leah, the wind clears the fog. Guan Yu, the sword breaks the vines. Guan Yu's sword flashed, and the vines broke like snakes. Girl, this forest is boring, but you can predict it, it's stable. Leah danced with her staff, and the wind blew away the fog. Leader, can you feel the spiritual chain? The team is unified, like a family. On the 3rd day, deep in the forest, the panel exploded with red, guardian monster attacks. Dryad King, huge in size, whip-like vine whip. Weak point, the crystal core at the root, need to focus the fire. Accompanying the sperm group. The earth shook and the mountains shook, and the tree spirit king burst out of the ground, 10 meters high, with branches and leaves like claws, and his roar shook the forest. Intruder, perish. The tree spirit rushed at him like a wolf. Yutong shouted, circle defense. Guan Yu slashes the whip, Kyle shoots the eyes, Leah, the barrier locks the root, Xiaofeng, sneaks into the Duanzijing, my crystal powder pre-detonates. Panel upgrade trigger, tactical command LV, 3, team psychic link open, damage sharing, tacit understanding explosion. Prediction, the resolution rate rises to 78%. Guan Yu jumped up and cut off the main whip with his sword energy, girl, come on. This bastard's roots are exposed. Kyle rained down arrows and blinded a tree eye, leader, the spirit is in chaos. Leah's barrier was like a net, wrapping the roots, storm twist, blast it. Xiaofeng Yin she shuttled through the body and pierced the three-headed spirit with a dagger, team strength, I feel like we are connected. Yutong rushed forward, the panel locked the crystal core, she unboxed and sprinkled the crystal powder, neutralized the pseudo-power, explode. The blue light exploded, the roots of the tree spirit king cracked, and he fell to the ground with a scream, and the child spirit collapsed. After the battle, the panel was updated, defeat the guardian monster. Experience plus 800. Permanent buff of the spiritual chain, emotional bond plus 1, peak team loyalty. The secret of the system is revealed, the real panel comes from the guardian spirit of the ruins, and the counterfeit is its self-protection mechanism. Excessive use will awaken the core of the ruins, triggering the reshaping of mainland trade. Yutong gasped and looked at the team, brother, this secret is big. The Watchers are digging ruins to destroy the balance. But our bond is strong. Let's go on this road together. Guan Yu wiped the sweat and patted her back, girl, from the desert to the forest, you led us to grow up. I am determined. Leah smiled, leaders, like sisters. Xiaofeng nodded, information sharing, never let go. Kyle drew back his bow, go to the warehouse and blow up the sky. The warehouse is hidden deep in the forest, and there are mountains of fake modules. Yutong predicts and flashes, low alert, explode within 5 minutes. Xiaofeng unlocks the door, Guan Yu guards the door, and Leah controls the wind to disperse the smoke. The crystal powder was sprinkled all over, and Yutong lit the fire, back. The explosion blasted into the sky, the flames shot through the forest, and the pseudomodule was shattered into slag. When escaping, the panel rang, mission progress, the warehouse was destroyed, and the conspiracy broke off an arm. Prediction, the organization counterattacks and the climax is approaching. The team ran out of the forest, the fire in their hearts became stronger, and the wind from the eastern continent smelled of a new crisis. The night wind at the edge of the forest smelled of scorched earth. The team panted out from the aftermath of the explosion, and the wheels of the carriage were still creaking. Yutong wiped the dust off his face, and the panel flickered at the edge of his vision, mission progress, warehouse destroyed, pseudomodule source exposure rate plus 40%. Prediction, the remnants of the Watchers retreat to the core of the ruins, and transporting key cultural relics, the guardian stones of the ruins, is the key to cutting off the roots. She turned to look at the team. Guan Yu was holding the sword and panting, Leah put away the barrier, Xiaofeng appeared from the shadow of the tree, and Kyle still had the string on his bow. Leader, this fire is very satisfying, but they won't give up just like that. Guan Yu wiped his sweat and stared into the depths of the forest with squinted eyes. The intelligence said that the Watcher's lair is in the lost ruins, where the source fragments of the true system are hidden. They want to use that thing to create more fakes, and we have to get ahead of them. Yutong nodded, the determination in her heart rising like a flame. From the time travel to the present, the conspiracy was approaching step by step, and the bond of the team made her feel that she was not alone. She took a deep breath. Yes, the panel shows that there is a guardian stone at the entrance to the ruins, which can neutralize the pseudo-power, but it has to be transported in to explode the source. Where is Enoch? Her intelligence network has to keep up. As soon as she finished speaking, there was the sound of horse hooves in the distance, and Enoch came riding on the guild's horse, with her cloak flying and a serious smile like that of an old man on her face. Girls, the guild is in chaos, but the leader has called for support, a box of guardian stone powder. This product is exclusive to the ruins and can seal the energy source of the counterfeit module. Mission upgrade, transport into the depths of the ruins and destroy the source of the counterfeit. Risk? Warcraft, trap, and the leader of the watchmen is personally on duty. Inua jumped off his horse and patted Yutong on the shoulder. I'll follow. I know the inscriptions well and can read the secrets of the old antique. But the entrance must be guarded. Your whole team is here, Guan Yu, you are on the front line. Xiao Feng's eyes lit up and he twirled the dagger in his hand. Teacher, let me add some information about the ruins. The entrance is a collapsed temple, vines block the road, there are floating stone slabs inside, and you stepped on the wrong abyss. The leader of the Watchers is a guy named Shadow Blade, a pseudo-system strengthened, summon the Shadow Beast. Leia tapped the ground, and the wind and sand swirled slightly. My barrier can stabilize the stone, leader. Once the spiritual chain is opened, we will move in step. Kyle drew back his bow and grinned, guard the flanks with arrows, and shoot as many as the shadow beasts come. Yutong's panel sounded, new mission, relic transportation. Difficulty, epic. Prediction success rate, 55%, requires leadership level 3 plus Inno inscription interpretation to trigger the buff. Unlocking potential, the system fully awakens. She clenched her fists, let's go. Load the carriage with stone powder, cross the collapsed plain, and go straight to the temple. Guan Yu, you clear the way. Inua, follow me. The others spread their guard. This is the pinnacle of our growth. If we cut off their roots, the trade line will be stable. At dawn, the team arrived at the edge of the plain. The collapsed ruins stood like the backbone of a giant beast, and the wind and sand carried ancient dust. The carriage stopped outside the temple, the entrance arch was crooked, vines were coiled like snakes, and there was a faint blue light pulsing. Guan Yu swung his sword and cut off the main vine. Girl, this place is so stuffy that it feels like it's alive. The entrance is secure. I'll guard here. If anything comes, I'll take care of it with my sword. He stood still, his giant sword thrust into the ground, his eyes as hard as a mountain. Yutong nodded, with a hint of warmth flashing in his heart. Guan Yu has always been the first to stand in the way since he was a guard in the desert. She turned around and led the team in, followed by Inuo, unfolding the old scroll in her hand. Look at this inscription, the ruins are the ancient trade temple, guarding the soul of the true system. The fakes are dug from the fragments here, but there is a conflict, the true spirit will backfire, and the overload will explode the mainland trade network. Girl, your panel is genuine. If you go deep, it will awaken. The stone slab floated in the air, and the team stepped on it carefully, with Xiao Feng exploring the way in front. Leader, the left slab is stable, there is a false talisman trap on the right, if you step on it, you will summon the shadow. Leia's wind barrier supported everyone, and Kyle pointed his arrow forward. There is movement in the fog, Shadow Beast team. Sure enough, the black shadow sprang out like smoke, the claws and claws flashed coldly, and the roar echoed. Yutong shouted, defense circle. Kyle scatters, Leah locks the smoke, Xiaofeng cuts off the rear, Inua, read the inscription to steady the road. The panel's prediction flashed, first wave, Shadow Beast group, weak point, light source blast. Crisis chain, the entrance is blocked and the leader is lurking. Kyle's bowstring sounded continuously, and the arrows penetrated the fog with light, shooting 3 shadow beasts. Leader, they are gone. But the entrance vine is moving, Guan Yu. Guan Yu's roar came from outside, girl, the shadow blade is bringing people. The entrance is blocked, the sword energy is open. Gold and iron clashed, and explosions occurred continuously. Leah danced with her staff, and the wind rolled black smoke into a ball. Suppress. Team Chain, feel your heartbeat. Xiaofeng flashed his dagger and pierced a shadow beast that slipped through the net. The information is accurate, the weak point is the eye core, it's broken. Deep in the hall, blue light shines brightly, the central altar has a floating crystal core, pseudo-module fragments pile up like a mountain, and the surrounding inscriptions flicker. Enoch came closer and narrowed his eyes, here is the source. The inscription says that the awakening of the true system requires the injection of Guardian Stone powder to resolve conflicts. But the Guardian is about to wake up, the ruined spirit beast. The Guardian spirit will not let the fake ones get close. Before he could finish his words, the ground cracked and the giant beast broke the stone. Then came out a stone-armored dragon with wings like blades and a tail sweep like a whip, roaring, invade the pseudo-spirits, destroy them. At the same time, the shadow blade appeared behind the altar, with black robes floating, and the halo of the pseudo-panel twisted. Time-traveling girl, I'll take your real ones. Organize the empire from here. A dual threat broke out, the stone-armored dragon wings fanned the storm, and the shadow blades summoned a rain of shadow blades. Yutong's heartbeat accelerated, and the red alert on the panel flashed wildly. Double boss battle, Guardian LV-5, Leader Pseudo-Enhancement LV-4. Weakness, Dragon Core Pseudo-Conflict, which needs to be neutralized by stone powder. System Awakening critical, inject leadership and unlock ultimate skills. She shouted, Inua, sprinkle the altar with stone powder. Team, use the spiritual chain to fully activate. Guanyu, block the entrance. Kyle, shoot the dragon wings. Leah, use the barrier to block the rain of blades. Xiaofeng, use the blind spot of the latent shadow blade. I charge the core. The sword light outside Guanyu was like a rainbow, blocking the shadow blade men. Girl, be steady. This leader moves fast, but the false light is dizzy and overloaded. He knocked 2 people away with one sword, and the vines at the entrance were burned. Kyle jumped onto the stone slab, shooting arrows like meteors at the dragon's wings. Leader, the wings are cracked, and the height is lost. Leia's barrier was like a shield, blocking the clanging rain of blades. The storm backlashed, the shadow blade retreated. Xiaofeng retreated behind him, and the dagger slashed the corner of the shadow blade's robe. Blind spot pierced, false panel cracked. Inuo rushed to the altar, stone powder was sprinkled, blue light collided with the pseudo-halo, and sparks flew everywhere. Girl, the inscription is activated. The real spirit is awakened, help you. Yutong jumped up, and the panel shook violently. The system is fully awakened. Inject the energy of the Guardian Stone to counterattack the false source. Unlock the ultimate skill, Trade Empire Blueprint, full view of the trade network, automatically optimize the empire route, predict global crises, and permanently increase the team buff by 50%. But the conflict, the tension between authenticity and falsehood needs to be resolved decisively. Her field of vision exploded, and she saw the mainland's trade network like a network, and the black threads of the Watchers entangled, but the blueprint flashed, destroy the source and rebuild the balance. The stone-armored dragon's tail swept towards him, and Yutong dodged to the side. He had a short inner monologue, this power is like a double blade. You must control it and not let it backfire on the team. She activated the blueprint, and her skills surged. Blueprint deployment, lock pseudo-core, trade pulse wave launch, neutralize conflict. Pressing the altar with his hand, blue light pulses exploded, the dragon core cracked, the pseudo-module shattered into powder, the shadow blade screamed, and the pseudo-panel exploded. Overload, no. Empire. He fell to the ground, and the shadow beast collapsed. In the aftermath of the battle, the stone-armored dragon roared and melted into the panel. The Guardian recognizes the master, and the true spirit will always be with you. Yutong gasped, feeling that her growth was like a peak explosion, from a novice to the imperial blueprint. Along the way, the team is her root. She turned her head. Brother, the source is destroyed. The Watcher's arm is broken, and the trade line is cleared. Enoch smiled. Girl, you've awakened, and the reputation of the guild has exploded. Let's go back and integrate resources, build a preliminary network, starting from the eastern continent. When the team met at the entrance, Guanyu sheathed his sword. Leader, this is amazing. Once the blueprint came out, it was like seeing the future. Leah crossed her arms. Sisters, the dream of the empire is approaching. Xiaofeng nodded. The intelligence network is expanding, always follow. Kyle patted his shoulder. Shoot arrows as you wish. Panel update, mission successful, reputation plus 2000. Initial trade network launch, automatic connection to the public conference line, resource integration plus 30%. Prediction, the remnants of the Watchers will counterattack, and the final showdown will come to the center of the continent. When leaving the ruins, the plain wind blew, and Yutong looked into the distance. The fire in his heart turned into the light of the blueprint. The crisis is still there, but the imperial blueprint is being rolled out, and a new road is on the way. The wind from the plains was still howling in my ears. Yutong led the team on horseback and left the edge of the ruins. The sand was flying under the horses' hooves. The blueprint unfolded in my mind like a living map, and the continent's trade network was as clear as the alley in my own backyard. The Silk Road in the eastern continent was smooth, and the black dots of the mineral veins in the west shone, which were the supply lines for the remnants of the Watchers. She wiped the sweat from her forehead, turned to Guan Yu and said, "Brother, this blueprint not only looks at the future, but also optimizes the route. The guild must take action and cut off their escape route, otherwise a counterattack will come and our dream of an empire will be ruined." Guan Yu nodded, his giant sword lying across the saddle, and the iron-blooded energy on his face became stronger. "Leader, you are right. I will lead a team to raid their east camp, and the intelligence said that fake module raw materials are stored there. Kyle will follow me, and Xiaofeng will explore the way." Kyle tightened the bowstring and grinned, "The arrows are ready, shoot through their supply truck." Xiaofeng turned his dagger, and his stealth skills flashed slightly. "I will first go in the dark, mark the traps, and ensure a clean raid." As soon as he finished speaking, Inua's communication crystal lit up, and the guild's emergency report rang out like thunder. "Girls, it's broken." The remnants of the Watchers launched a full-scale counterattack, sending troops from the core of the central ruins of the continent to block the three major trade routes. The leader's shadow blade is not dead, the fake panel has been repaired, and the Alliance bandits and Warcraft mercenaries have been summoned. The Guild Alliance has allocated 500 people for support, but it depends on your blueprint command multi-line transportation, blocking their supplies. We will outflank them in turn. Yutong's heart tightened, and the panel automatically unfolded the blueprint. The red line spread like a snake, marking the enemy's camp and supply convoy. Crisis prediction, the scale of the counterattack is epic, with a success rate of 48%. Multiple lines of deployment are required. The main line transports Guardian Shiryu to seal the monsters, the secondary line raids the east camp, and the western line alliance converges. The team buff is activated, and leadership LV.3 triggers the optimization of the entire map. She took a deep breath, her determination as solid as a blueprint. From a novice time traveler to the present, this battle is the touchstone of her growth, and she must let the team see the prototype of the empire. Inua, you coordinate the Guild Alliance and gather from the North Road. I will direct the main line transportation. Leah, protect the carriage. We go straight to the middle road and block their food route. Guan Yu, you raid the east camp and cut off the raw materials. The whole team is spiritually linked and feel each other's rhythm. With a wave of Leia's staff, the sand and dust barrier covered the carriage team like mist. Leader, the storm is in place. Sisters, heartbeats are linked together, and the battle is like a dance. The team nodded, and the wheels of the carriage turned, raising dust and heading straight to the middle road. On the way, Yutong looked at the blueprint while riding. Xiaofeng, send Shadow Crow to scout the front. The enemy has 3 teams of supply trucks carrying pseudo-energy crystals, and the guards are low-level monsters. Let's go around the flanks. Leah will get lost in the wind and sand, and Kyle will shoot the wheel. As night falls, the middle road canyon is brightly lit, the watchman's convoy winds like a long dragon, and the bandits are shouting to drive away the beasts. Yutong whispered, "Action." When the Leah storm broke out, the sand and fog filled the air, and the convoy turned into a mess. Kyle's arrows rained down, breaking the axle. Leader, the 2 vehicles overturned, and the spars scattered on the ground. Xiaofeng burst out of the fog, and opened the beast's sack with a dagger. Untie the monster, bite your own people. Yutong rushed forward, and the panel's weakness analysis flashed. Supply weakness, spar overload, trade pulse wave can detonate. She activated the blueprint and pressed a scattered crystal with her hand. Pulse launch, blockade. The blue light flashed, the crystals exploded in a chain, flames shot into the sky, and the convoy was broken into 2 pieces. Well done. Guan Yu's communication sounded, and his side screamed with sword energy. The Dongying raid was successful, the raw material warehouse was burned. But they counterattacked fiercely. Shadow Blade personally led the elite to move westward, and summon something big. Leader, see you at the meeting point. Inua's voice followed. The guild alliance is in place, and the North Road suppressed it. But there is a change in the Middle Road. The ultimate monster is summoned, and the Shadow Dragon King at the core of the ruins wakes up. Girl, the blueprint predicts that it will guard the pseudosource fragments and devour the trade lines. Yutong's team sped up to meet up. The ground shook deep in the canyon, black mist rose, and a giant shadow broke out of the ground, the Shadow Dragon King, with scales like night, wingspan that covered the sky, spraying pseudo-energy mist from his mouth, and a roar that made the horses neigh. The remnants of the watchers cheered, and the black robes of the Shadow Blade floated on the dragon's back, traversing untouchables. Your blueprint is just an old relic. The organization will control the mainland's economy, and trade will be used by me. A group of warcraft emerged from the fog and rushed towards the alliance team. The battle broke out, the guild alliance and the trade team attacked, and swords and arrows intertwined. Guan Yu led the assault team to charge in from the flank. Leader, give me the dragon wings. Clear the way with your sword. He jumped up and slashed at the dragon's claws with his giant sword, causing sparks to fly. Kyle kept stringing his bow, arrow lock. Team, spread out. Leah's barrier was like a net, blocking the spray of mist. The storm backlashed, the dragon's breath locked it. Xiaofeng became invisible and circled the dragon's belly. The mark of weakness, abdominal scale pine, penetrate it. Yutong's riding center, blueprint fully opened. Ultimate boss, Shadow Dragon King LV, 6, weakness, pseudo-energy core, requires magic neutralization plus trade blockade. System integration, blueprint plus guardian stone powder, unlock relic mode. She had a brief flash in her heart. This dragon is a product of a pseudo-origin, and it must be balanced with the real system, so that it cannot ruin the team's efforts. Turning around and shouting to Inua, Teacher, the Alliance Earth Wall seals the dragon's legs. Stone powder sprinkles mist, I integrate the magic. Inua waved his staff, and the Earth Wall rose like a mountain. Girl, the inscription is activated, the true spirit buff, the dragon will bite you back. The guild warriors followed and shouted to kill Jintian. Shadow Blade jumped off the dragon's back, and the black blade pointed directly at Yutong. Your system is a relic of the ancient trade god, guarding the balance? What a joke. What the organization wants is monopoly, and the economy paves the way for the empire. His pseudo-panel twisted, summoning a rain of blades. Yutong dodged, and the panel read alert, leader confrontation, reveal the truth, trigger leadership decision. She shouted, wrong, Shadow Blade. The system is not a weapon, it is a relic that protects fair trade. The ancient temple built it to prevent lunatics like you from controlling the situation. If the blueprint is seen clearly, your counterfeit will destroy the continent's network, and famine and war will occur. After saying this, Yutong jumped on the top of the carriage, stone powder sprinkled into the blueprint's field of vision, and magic was woven into the trade network like silk thread. Relic mode unlocked, integrated magic trade strategy, pulse blockade plus storm neutralization, reversal of the dragon core. Blue light burst out, and the trade network covered the Shadow Dragon King like a giant net. The pseudo-energy was sucked into the net and backfired on the dragon's body. The dragon's roar was painful, its scales cracked, and the mist flowed back and burned the remaining members. Leia Storm linked up, leader, magical skill. The barrier pushes the wave, and the dragon flips over. Guan Yu's sword stabs the scales in the belly, the team works together, kill it. Xiaofeng's dagger pierces deeply, the core is cracked, and the pseudo-power leaks. Shadow Blade's face was livid, and the rain of blades was blocked by the blue net. Impossible, how could the relic recognize you? He rushed towards him, stabbing straight with the black blade. Yutong dodged sideways, predicting the dodge on the panel, and her inner determination was as strong as steel. after growing up to this point, for the sake of the team and balance, she could not retreat. Because I understand that trade is not plunder, but connection. See clearly, your dream of an empire is a cancer. She activated the ultimate pulse, pressed the Shadow Blade's pseudo-panel with her hand, and the blueprint invaded, the pseudo-source overloaded, the explosion knocked him away, and the panel shattered into pieces. The Shadow Dragon King collapsed, dissipated into black mist, and the remaining party fled. In the lingering smoke of the battlefield, the team gathered together. Guan Yu gasped and patted his shoulder, "Leader, this battle was a blast. The blueprint and magic are incredible." Inoue walked over with a smile, "Girl, reveal the truth about the relics, and the guild will recognize you. The alliance is stable, and the trade lines are reopened." But Shadow Blade escaped, and the final battle in the center was imminent. "Sisters, the spiritual chain is burning, the empire is close." Kyle put away his bow, "The arrow is still hot, go ahead as you want." Xiaofeng nodded, "The intelligence said that there is a big secret in the center, waiting for us to dig out." Yutong looked at the blueprint, and a new context shone. The crisis was mostly resolved, but in the end the core of the conspiracy was still hidden. She clenched her fists, and the growth in her heart spread like a trade network. From traveling alone to commanding battles, the team was the cornerstone of her empire. The carriage team reorganized and headed towards the center of the continent, with faint thunder in the wind. The wheels of the carriage rumbled on the gravel road, and the faint thunder in the wind got closer and closer, like the heart of the continent beating. Yutong rode at the front of the team. In the blueprint's field of view, the central fortress of the continent was swollen like a black tumor. Most of the supply lines of the remnants of the Watchers were cut off, but the core device was still running, and pseudo-energy entangled the trade network like a poisonous snake. She turned to Guan Yu and shouted, "Brother Tai, the central fortress is here. The intelligence said that the Shadow Blade is guarding there and has summoned the last mercenary monsters and bandits. We launch a general attack, and the main line transports the Guardian Stone powder and goes straight to the main entrance to cut off their energy source. On the flank, you lead the team around to the east, Kyle and Xiaofeng follow up, and blow open the back door. Leah protects the center, and I break the defense." Guan Yu's giant sword waved, and the horse accelerated. The iron-blooded energy on his face was like boiling blood. "Leader, the east wing covers me." The sword cleared the way, Kyle's arrow rain suppressed it, and Xiaofeng touched the black mark. "Shadow Blade can't run away this time, give him a sandwich cake." Kyle pulled the bow and tried the string, grinning. "Arrows are fully prepared, shoot through their monster skins." "Leader, are the blueprint predictions accurate?" Xiaofeng's dagger flashed, and his invisibility skills shook slightly. "Accurate. The reconnaissance crow has flown, and the 3 layers of traps outside the fortress are all marked. Sisters, open the spiritual chain and feel my rhythm." Leah held her staff against the blue sky, and the wind and sand barrier spread out like mist, covering the carriage team. The storm is in place, and the remaining powder transportation is stable. "Yutong, the pseudo-core of the fortress is the remains of the Dragon King. Come with me to assist in the storm." Enoch's communication crystal lit up, and his voice was as steady as a veteran. "Girl, 500 people from the Guild Alliance are pressing forward from the north. I will personally lead the Earth Wall team to seal the flanks. The inscription is activated, and the true spirit buff is fully activated. Don't let the Shadow Blade's pseudo-panel play tricks. The countdown to the total attack, the blueprint command, the foundation of our trade empire lies in this battle." Yutong nodded, and the panel automatically expanded. General attack deployment, mainline transportation success rate 72%, flank assault plus alliance pincer attack, relic mode fully activated. Crisis prediction, the core of the fortress is overloaded, and bugs are lurking in the system, inner balance is needed to resolve them. She took a deep breath, and a brief flash occurred in her heart, from the girl who had no strength to tie a chicken on the day of time travel, to now commanding thousands of armies. This growth is like a blueprint, weaving a web step by step. We can't let the hidden crisis in the system ruin everything, we have to stay stable in the battle. The fortress stands in the central canyon, with towering black stone walls, pseudo-energy mist, and the roar of monsters. The watchman's flag was flying, the bandit archers were arrayed, and the Shadow Blade's black-robed figure flashed on the top of the tower. Traversing barbarian, your blueprint relics are just scrap iron from the old era. The organization's fortress is impregnable, and the core device controls the trade network of the entire continent. Come on, die. He waved his hand, the pseudo-panel twisted, the inscription on the wall of the fortress lit up, and the energy cannon blasted out like thunder, cracking the ground. Action! Yutong shouted, and the carriage team charged. The main line of remaining powder boxes, protected by Leah's barrier, went straight to the main entrance. Arrows rained like locusts, and the monsters rushed towards them. Guan Yu's flanks had already moved, assault on the east wing. Kyle, shoot the turret. Kyle fired arrows in succession, locking the weak point, hit. The barrel exploded, and the monsters ran around. Xiaofeng turned invisible and rushed into the back door. The trap has been dismantled, the back road is open, leader, Dongying is burning. The earth wall of Inua North Road rises like a mountain, the alliance is coming. The earth wall seals the monster's legs, and the true spirit buff burns the fake power. The guild warriors shouted, and the sword and shield clashed like a wave. Yutong jumped off the carriage, and the blueprint vision locked the fortress defense. Weakness of the core device, pseudo-energy center, which requires residual powder neutralization plus pulse invasion. Defense layer 3, outer wall fog barrier, middle blade array, and core lock. She rushed to the front door, Leah's storm exploded, and the sand mist swallowed the archers. Push the barrier, sisters, follow. A giant wolf from Warcraft rushed at him. Yutong activated the novice shield, and dodged to stab the weak point with his sword. Weakness analysis, belly. Team, tighten the spiritual chain. Guan Yu communication sounded, leader, the east wing broke the door, and the mercenaries were half defeated. But Shadow Blades summoned the fortress guards, iron golems, 3. The battlefield was chaotic, the iron golem climbed out of the wall, and its fists hit the ground like an earthquake. Guan Yu's sword energy slashed away, crush it. Xiaofeng, mark the joints. Xiaofeng pierced the dagger, let go, Kyle shoots the eye. The arrow entered the eye, and the golem shook. Enoch's earth wall attacked from between, inscription lock, alliance axe chops the legs. Yutong looked at the blueprint while fighting, the remaining powder spilled out, and the magic thread was woven in, relic mode, pulse blockade, the first layer of fog barrier, broken. The blue light flashed, the fog dissipated like smoke, the outer wall cracked, and the bandits screamed and retreated. Shadow Blade jumped from the top of the tower, and the black blade pointed directly at Yutong. Untouchable, what do you know about growth? The organization dug out fake sources from the depths of the ruins in order to reshape the trade empire, monopolize everything, and make the hungry people slaves. His fake panel exploded, the middle layer of the blade array was activated, and countless black blades poured out like rain. Yutong dodges, and the red alert on the panel flashes, leader resistance, the final confrontation, the system crisis is triggered, the overload bug can be resolved by internal review. Her heart surged. On the day she traveled through time, she was confused and helpless, and could only look at the panel in a daze. Later she took on simple tasks, and learned to negotiate and protect little by little on the trade road. When forming a team, Guan Yu's sword, Nua's guidance, and the team's laughter turned her from an orphan to a leader. This growth is not given by the system, but is obtained in every battle and every route. Can't let bugs destroy it, she shouted. Wrong, Shadow Blade. Growth is about connection, not control. The system's relics maintain balance, and I won't let you destroy it. After finishing his words, Yutong pressed the panel. His inner balance was like an anchor. Crisis resolution, bug neutralization, relic mode upgrade, comprehensive leadership LV, for team buff plus 100%. The blueprint was revealed. She jumped up the wall, and the remaining powder was sprinkled into the blade formation, trade pulse, reverse. The black blade was absorbed by the blue network, and the shadow blade was absorbed back. He groaned and retreated. Impossible, how could the false source? Lia storm-linked, leader, a stroke of genius. The wind and sand swallowing blade formation, the core is exposed. Guan Yu rushed in, the iron golem is completely shattered, the flanks are cleared. Leader, the core is for you. The core chamber of the fortress is hidden deep inside, and the pseudo-energy core is like a heart pulsing, guarded by the remnants of Warcraft. Yutong rushed in, the shadow blade blocked the way, and the black blade danced wildly. Your dream of an empire ends here. She dodged to the side, and analyzed her weaknesses: leader's weakness, pseudo-panel core, invasion collapse. The team's spiritual chain burned like fire, and Guan Yu's sword blocked a blow. Leader, I will guard your back. Inno communication, the alliance is pressing forward, and the outside of the fortress is under full control. Yutong activated the ultimate mode and pressed the core with his hand. Blueprint invasion, residual powder neutralizes, blockade. Blue light burst out, pseudo-energy flowed back like a flood, the core cracked, and the explosion shook the fortress. The false panel of the shadow blade shattered, and he knelt down, his face pale. Relic, recognize you? The organization is over. Yutong gasped and looked at him. It's not about me, it's about balance. Trade is everyone's path, not your cage. With a sword, the leader fell, the remaining party collapsed, and the magic beast mist dispersed. Outside the fortress, the guild alliance cheered, the blueprint of the trade route was instantly clear, and the entire continent was back to smooth flow. After the war, when the dust settled, Inuo came over, patted his shoulder and smiled. Girl, this is a great attack. The guild council voted unanimously, you are the highest honor, trade guardian, and the blueprint relics are officially under your control. After the organization has wiped out the remaining parties, the empire blueprint can be opened. Guan Yu wiped his sword, a tough man. With red eyes, leader, from beginning to end, this growth is like the growth of my own sister. The team will always be with you. Leia folded her arms and Fengsha said lightly, sisters, the spiritual chain will never be broken. The storm escorts the empire. Kyle drew back his bow and Xiaofeng nodded, arrows and daggers are always on call. As Yutong looked at the blueprint, the context of the new era shone brightly, and the growth in her heart was like a river. From crossing the fog to resolving the crisis, the team was her route along the way. Guild halls are brightly lit, badges of honor are donned, and the sound of carriages and horses ringing across the continent as trade lines reopen. But vaguely, she felt that the system had deeper secrets, waiting to be finally explored. The carriage team geared up and headed towards the dawn of the new trading empire. There was no thunder in the wind, only the roar of freedom. The carriage team moved forward in the dawn, the wheels rolled over the rubble of the war, and the smell of gunpowder smoke still lingered in the air, but the roar of freedom was already blowing like a spring breeze. Yutong sat in the leading truck, stroking the panel with his fingers. In the blueprint's field of view, the mainland's trade network was like a network woven with golden threads, with unimpeded connections. The shadow of the organization has dissipated, the blue light of residual powder has penetrated into every route, and the model of predicting global crises is running steadily. She turned to look at Guan Yu. He was riding horses side by side with his giant sword slung across his back. His iron tower-like body looked particularly reliable in the morning light. Brother Tai, once this empire blueprint is launched, our fleet will be doubled, right? From Donghai Port to Beima Forest, the entire line will be connected, and the goods will flow, and the guild's money bag will burst into laughter. Guan Yu laughed loudly, his voice thundering, Leader, this relic of your blueprint is an artifact. You organized those bastards who want to monopolize trade. It's a good thing now, all the trade routes in the continent are listening to you. As the chief guard, I, Guan Yu, have secured my position. From now on, if any bandit monster dares to touch our car, the sword will greet you first. He patted the hilt of the sword, and the iron-blooded energy in his eyes was mixed with a brotherly eagerness. Leah, who was behind, rode her horse to catch up, her wind-sand staff swaying lightly, and the playful smile on her face was like an oasis in the desert. Sisters, I upgraded the storm barrier specifically to bless the Empire's route. When the spiritual chain was pulled, Kyle's arrows and Xiaofeng's shadow all kept up with the rhythm. At the celebration, I have to give you a toast. From starting in the misty forest to building the empire now, this road has been like the crazy adventure of sisters. Kyle took out a new arrow from his bow bag and grinned. The arrows are ready, leader. The blueprint is accurate. Last night I dreamed that the iron golem in the east wing was shattered into slag. The empire has opened, and our long-range team must be expanded to shoot through any hidden dangers. Xiaofeng's stealth skills flashed slightly, jumped off the roof of the car, and turned the dagger. The scout crow has cast a net, and the entire continent's borders are monitoring it. Leader, your weaknesses are clearly understood. How many times has the analysis saved us? Now, Shadow Crow's exclusive Empire intelligence line ensures that no disturbance on the trade road can escape. The laughter of the team echoed in the carriage room, like the afterglow of a victory. As Yutong listened, the faint secrets of the system faded like the morning mist. Perhaps, it was just the aftermath of growth, and the blueprint had become stable, becoming her most loyal partner. The guild hall was brightly lit and bustling with people. Inua stood on the high platform, his experienced face full of pride. He waved to silence the audience, dear adventurers and business group partners. Today, we not only celebrate the destruction of the organization's remnants, but also witness the birth of a legend. Yutong, from a foreign girl who traveled through the fog to a trade guardian, she used the blueprint relics to reshape the mainland trade network. The Guild Council unanimously approved. In recognition of her contribution, she was awarded the Imperial Pioneer Medal, and the blueprint was officially authorized to manage the global route. The audience applauded, and the merchants raised their glasses and shouted, "Long live the trade empire." Yutong walked onto the stage, her badge shining on her chest. She scanned the audience, and the panel automatically expanded. Empire Blueprint Activation, connecting the entire East China Sea, Beihai, Beima, and Nansong, route optimization plus 100%, and zero risk in crisis prediction. The team buffs are fully activated, and the economic prosperity index soars. She cleared her throat, her voice steady but with youthful vitality. Thank you everyone, from the first day I joined the guild, taking on the simple freight task, to building this trade empire now. This is not my fault alone. It is the suggestion of Mentor Inua, who let me learn to read inscriptions. It is Guan Yu's the sword protects every dangerous road. It's Leah's storm, Kyle's arrow, Xiaofeng's shadow, and the team's spiritual chain tightens everyone's grip. The organization wants to use false sources to control trade, and we use balance to protect it. Now, goods across the continent can flow smoothly, hungry people have food, and borders have medicine. Prosperity is no longer a dream. Enoch stepped forward and patted her on the shoulder, with the joy in his eyes like that of an old father. Girl, the guild has witnessed your growth. From being powerless to leading an army, I will serve as a consultant to help you manage taxes and alliance affairs. The system blueprint is stable, is it a secret? That is just the protection mechanism of the relics, and now it is all under your control. Guan Yu squeezed up. The tough man actually picked up the wine glass and said in a rough voice, "Leader, the chief guard will always be with you. This empire is like our home, from the battlefield to the trade routes, let's go together." Leia came closer, the wind and sand blew lightly. Sisters, the celebration party is about to start. Who dares not to come to the storm dance? Kyle and Xiaofeng laughed in unison. The arrows and wine are ready, and the shadow wine is with us. In the hall, celebrations were in full swing. Leaders of the business group gathered around, and negotiations continued. Miss Yutong, our family is willing to sign a 10-year contract for the Beihai fish cargo line. Nansong medicinal materials, after the blueprint is optimized, the transportation time will be doubled. Yutong responded one by one, with trade negotiation skills like an arm and a finger. The panel automatically negotiated prices, and the terms were generous. The team sat in a corner, wine glasses clinking, and Guan Yu drank heavily. Remember the first time we formed a team? The leader was so nervous that he couldn't hold his sword steady. What about now? Commanding the general attack, the shadow blade guy knelt down and begged for mercy. Leia giggled. Yes, the spiritual chain was connected then, and now it's like blood. The empire has opened, and our adventure has just warmed up. As Yutong listened, a brief flash occurred in her heart. On the day she traveled through time, she was just a confused modern girl. When the panel popped up, she would only look at the attributes in a daze. Simple tasks taught her route evaluation, monster attacks on the trade road trained her in vulnerability analysis, and the laughter of the team allowed her leadership to climb from level 1 to level 4. This growth is not given by the system, but is obtained through every battle and every negotiation. From a lonely stranger to an elite leader, she is no longer a bystander but a web weaver. The system operates stably, accompanying you like an old friend. In the vision of the blueprint, trade across the continent flows like living water, economic prosperity drives the prosperity of villages and towns, the threat of warcraft subsides, and the guild's mission shifts to exploration rather than survival. As the night progressed, the celebrations gradually ceased. Yutong walked alone to the balcony of the hall and looked at the trade road under the starry sky, with the carriages and horses lit up like a dragon. Guan Yu came over and handed hot tea. "Leader, take a rest. The empire is stable, the route is safe, and the guild depends on you." She smiled. "Brother Tai, thank you. On this road, from fog to dawn, the team is my route." Inua, the voice came from behind. "Girl, the position of consultant has been confirmed. In the future, the blueprint can also explore further ruins." Leah, Kyle, and Xiaofeng also joined in, and everyone sat around, sharing old things under the stars. Friendship is like wine, getting better and better with age. Finally, Yutong stood up, and the panel flashed. "The story ends, the growth is complete, and the empire will prosper forever." She took a deep breath of the night wind, and an emotional climax surged in her heart. This other world was no longer a maze, but her home. The transformation from a girl to a leader made her understand that adventure never stops. Partners, the empire has been built, but new routes and new challenges are waiting for us. Let's go, the next adventure begins at dawn. The team responded in unison. Laughter floated far in the wind, the mainland trade network shone, prosperity was like a song, and the story ended in satisfaction.